Roger Stone here. Your dollars are losing ground, but gold isn't. American Sovereign Bullion helps you protect your wealth through real, tangible assets. Through their nationwide wholesaler network, you get some of the best pricing on gold and silver delivered straight to your door. Since 1912, the U.S. dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to prove its strength. So call 844-272-2428. That's 844-272-2428. Or visit dyingdollar.com to request your free gold and silver guide. That's dyingdollar.com.
Sid and Friends in the morning. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I'm sorry, Sid. Hi.
Oh, God, don't be sorry. You kidding me?
No, I'm wrapped up in these meetings on peace. And I said, it's between peace and Sid Rosenberg. And I said, let's take Rosenberg, okay? So.
Whiplash in the Middle East, hours after saying the U.S. would attack civilian infrastructure and even take over Iran's energy facilities. President Trump announced that a deal could be signed over the weekend and that the documents are in pretty final shape. Over the previous 48 hours, the war of words with Iran over the Strait of Hormuz had escalated into the language of bombs and tit-for-tat retaliations on Iran and missiles launched at U.S. bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, and Jordan. The president said he suspended a ferocious night of attacks on Iran, even after it called the ceasefire meaningless. So to bring in some clarity, let's go to Caitlin Huey-Burns in Washington. So, Caitlin, what's the state of play right now with this deal?
Well, what's at play here is a potential deal to strike a deal. The president said the U.S. and Iran are now closing in on a memorandum of understanding that would then kick off 60 days of negotiations over Iran's nuclear program.
President Trump called off a third straight day of airstrikes against Iran, saying there was an agreement with the regime.
We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran, and we're going to be subject to finalization of documents. We should get done over the next few days.
Just hours earlier, the president was threatening more bombing.
It'll be a bigger, more powerful.
An apparent breakthrough. CBS News has learned the agreement, if signed, would open up the Strait of Hormuz, include a commitment by Iran not to enrich uranium for 15 to 20 years, and, if there's enough progress, release billions of dollars in frozen Iranian assets. The president said the U.S. naval blockade in the strait will remain until the deal is officially agreed to, which he said could be this weekend. Overnight, the U.S. used 2 Hellfire missiles to disable a tanker carrying Iranian oil. The president said the price of oil will fall once the strait is opened.
We'll have oil prices dropping like a rock.
Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen disputed that prediction.
Well, that's just not true. Over time, prices will go down, but they will be sticky for some time. We just saw reports this week that inflation is the highest it's been in years.
Now, as for the Iranians, a foreign ministry spokesperson acknowledged that while the text of the deal is nearly ready, the agreement has not yet become final.
President Trump pulling Bill Pulte's nomination as Director of National Intelligence and announcing Jay Clayton for the role instead. Mark Meredith has got the breaking news from the White House. Clayton, quite a well-known fellow.
Absolutely, especially around here in Washington, John. Of course, the headline here is that the president felt the pressure that was coming from Capitol Hill, including from a number of Republicans that were not happy to see Bill Pulte in the Director of National Intelligence position. He was named as acting DNI. What this does is set up the nomination for, as you mentioned, Jay Clayton, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District in New York. He was also the chairman of the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, during the president's first term. I think it was 2017 to 20. He is well known around Washington, obviously in the legal circles. Also had served, I believe, on the board of American Express. The question, of course, here is, will this propel Congress to move quickly on this nomination? Tulsi Gabbard, who had been confirmed for this job, obviously was going to be replaced, and she had announced that she would be leaving, the president going in a different direction, and she was expected to leave by the end of this month. Axios came out with a report which said that Pulte had called her and said, nope, you're done this week. It's time to get moving. And it's unclear whether or not that leaking may have had any impact on the president's decision. But perhaps that's the biggest headline, was that there was a number of congressional Republicans, in addition to Democrats, who blocked an extension, a short-term extension of a warrantless surveillance act that needed to be approved by Congress because there was so much anger over Pulte's nomination for DNI. So it's unclear right now, is he going to stay as acting DNI as this nomination works through? It's an important post. It's been around for decades. The question, of course, here is what will this do to change any of the feelings up on the Hill? I just checked with our Capitol Hill team. A lot of these lawmakers, they're already heading to the airport. It's hotter than hell out here, John. They're already skipping town for the weekend. So any movement would likely have to come after this weekend. John?
I wouldn't see any reason to pull Pulte as acting now that Clayton's been nominated, but we'll see, maybe. Mark Meredith with the update from the White House. Thanks, Mike.
You spoke about Mayor Mamdani and sanctuary cities. How do you envision the operations from your department in New York or other sanctuary cities as compared to what happened in Minnesota or California prior to you being secretary?
When you take somebody like Mamdani, who is just this radical socialist, that's anti-law enforcement, anti-police, it's shameful because NYPD is awesome. They're phenomenal to work with. They have the best crowd procedures. They have the best law enforcement agency. I'd put them up against just about any city around the country, and they have a pride about them of doing so. But you got a mayor that's not allowing them to do their job, and it's shameful. All these guys in the NYPD, they just want to go to work. They want to do something that they feel like they were called to do, and they're great at it. But they got a leader that's handcuffing them, and hopefully, people in New York will wise up and get a true leader in there in a few years.
How would your operations look different than Minnesota or California?
Well, if we had partnership with NYPD, we could clean that city up in 30 days. I mean that sincerely. We could clean that up with President Trump's leadership and us flexing with the ability we have. We've seen it happen in Memphis. We've seen it happen in New Orleans. We've seen it happen right here in Washington, D.C. We know how to do it. We just got to have politics set aside and let law and order be the mainstream of why we decide we're going to do what we're going to do.
Some tough talk from Governor Hochul as she meets with community activists and immigrant groups to assure them that she has their back.
She's a douchebag.
It comes amid threats from the feds to send more ICE agents to New York just as the World Cup kicks off. Political reporter Marcia Kramer has the story.
The World Cup viewing stage in Queens advertises the world's game in the world's borough. But as she welcomed New Yorkers to watch soccer games there, Governor Hochul had a bigger concern, the threat by the feds to bring more ICE agents to New York City as the matches take place.
The threats by Tom Homan, which we're hearing, but I want to send a message right back. Not here, not New York.
What are you going to do about it?
The tough talk from Governor Hochul came as she met with a dozen community groups and advocates to calm their fears about the crackdown threatened by border czar Tom Homan. She listened to their concerns.
We are hosting the World Cup. It's welcoming the world to our city.
Yeah, no terrorists.
And this administration wants to not do that.
Yeah, we don't want terrorists.
In every way and possible form.
Even admitted that hotel workers, many of them immigrants and others, are feeling
particularly vulnerable in light of the most recent threats from Tom Homan.
But she says the new law she signed recently will help protect people. They prevent the NYPD and other law enforcement agencies from cooperating with ICE. They also ban ICE agents from making arrests in schools and houses of worship and from wearing masks.
It's not how we do things in New York. Maybe Washington, different breed. They think that intimidation and creating fear is the way to govern, and we're just.
How about the mask on the pro-Hamas, Kathy? How about the mask on the pro-Hamas, douchebag?
In Minneapolis.
We cannot let that happen here. It hurts the economy. It hurts the psyche of a community. It lends itself to more violence. The public is very against the overreach of ICE.
Marcia, what is the likelihood that we'll see ICE agents here, more of them?
Very likely.
Well, the governor said that she doesn't exactly know when or if the border czar will make good on his threat, so we're waiting to see.
What about any conversations with the president? Has she reached out? Has he reached out?
The governor says she spoke with the president after Minneapolis, and he told her, now get this, he wouldn't send more ICE agents here unless she asked for them. She says it's a request that she has no intention of making. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see whether the recent threats by Tom Homan will actually come true.
Oh, they're coming true. Marcia, thank you.
The Knick game was amazing last night because it showed us that they never gave up. It's not how many times you get knocked down, but how many times you get back up. And it reminds me of Sid Rosenberg, who I worked with for the past year. He got knocked down. He had addiction problems. He got fired. He got knocked down again. And you know what? He kept getting back up, and he kept working hard. And now look at him. He's the king of New York. He's got amazing ratings because he never gave up. And that's the moral of the story. Keep working hard.
When we play that news piece every morning, which a lot of folks love, Frank Morano says it's the best news piece all day, and Pete Morgan loves it too. And then we go into the song that starts the show. I get pumped up. And you want me pumped up because although Noam does a tremendous job, and Lou and Justin and our 5 or 6 great guests today, I'm the guy basically talking for 4 hours. So you want me to be enthusiastic and engaged. So when the music is good and I like it, which is every day thanks to Lou, that makes me better. So I'm glad you guys enjoy it, but it's really for me. And when I hear Def Leppard, I'm ready to go. I am ready to go. And then you hear Rocky, Burgess Meredith talking to Rocky, inspired by a beautiful Instagram piece by our coworker. I'm not even sure she still is a coworker. I don't even know. But she was here every day for months, and I love her. Lisa Glassberg, who's listening right now, Lisa G., and was really honored that we played her piece there, Lou, at the end of the segment. She was, wow, thank you so much. But she made the comparison, which I think is probably unfair to the Knicks and is way too nice to me, where the Knicks, every time you think they're down and out, right, down by 22, game 1 of that Cavalier series with 8 minutes to go, they win. Down by 29, game 4 against San Antonio, they win. You can never count them out. You can knock them down, but the Knicks are going to get up. And Lisa G made that comparison to me, which is very, very sweet. Thank you. I love you. Not sure I'm worthy of that, but at any rate, it was a good way to end the Open because you got that, you got Rocky, you got Def Leppard, and it's Friday. It's Friday, and you ain't got shizzle to do. I'm going to get you high tonight. What movie is that, Noam? Quickly.
No idea.
Oh, come on. Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker and Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Was it Ice Cube? I think it was. Yeah, it was Friday.
Yeah, it's Ice Cube.
It was Ice Cube?
Yeah.
Not Ice Tea, not Ice...
no, Ice Tea would be in Law and Order.
Vanilla Ice, no.
Vanilla Ice, good one. You know, Vanilla Ice, funny you mention him. So all these performers that were going to perform in Washington, D.C. for our 250th birthday party with President Trump, and then they all backed out. Who's the doofus that wears the bandana? He was with, was it Poison or... You know, he was reality star. He almost died.
Bret Michaels.
Yes, Bret Michaels. He's one of the, washed-up losers that pulled out. But the only artist that said, I'll do it. I love Trump. I love America. Believe it or not, the guy you just mentioned, Vanilla Ice, he was going to do it. He may still be doing it. I don't know. He's got that one song, that he stole from somebody else.
He did.
Right.
Yeah. Super Freak from Rick James. What did he call it again?
Ice Baby.
Ice Baby, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, or Queen, actually.
Oh, Queen. Yeah, I'm all over the place.
You have not stopped since you won.
No.
Jeez.
I had to go back to the city last night, which is not fun. I'm tired. Go back to Queens after the show. Hopped on a 4:15 p.m. ferry from Rockaway to Wall Street. And then I took the train because my dentist is on 14th, just south of Broadway. So I took the train from Wall Street, the 2 train, to 14th Street, and I didn't realize how far that walk was because I guess that's 7th Avenue. And from 7th Avenue to just south of Union Square, that's a long walk. And, oh, by the way, it was about 100 million degrees last night. So by the time I got to the dentist, I walked in, I said, I don't need a dentist. I need a cardiologist.
Boom.
Very Rodney-like, right, Lewis? Very good.
I tell you, my friend, my doctor, Dr. Vinny Boobutt, you know him, I said, Doc, I'm not feeling good. I don't feel good at all. I mean, I look terrible. What do you think? He said, I don't know if I can help you, but your eyesight is great.
Well done, Rodney. Thank you from the grape. So all the girls and I started laughing, and but I was serious. It was And then by the time I got out of the dentist last night, he took my stitches out finally. It's been 2.5 weeks since they pulled my teeth. They did a little bit of a teeth cleaning. So I think I got back on the ferry last night. I caught the very last ferry, Lewis, back to our neighborhood at 8:15 p.m. last night.
Fun.
Walked in my house about 9:40. And before you know it, it's 2:45 a.m. and my alarm is going off. So it's like every day with me. I got something going on. I don't know. I got events. I got ball games. I'll be back at Yankee Stadium. I miss Randy Levine, so he invited me back Tuesday night, Yankees and White Sox. And then it does look like Thursday I'm going to make my way to Israel. Danielle was supposed to come, my beautiful wife. She's not coming. My amazing son, Gabriel, he was supposed to come. He's not coming. My daughter, Ava, is there now. She comes home Tuesday, and I go there 2 days after she comes home. But I was really waiting to see what was going to happen with President Trump last night. Now, I know that Israel is not helping us in this latest bombing plan, which was supposed to be so ferocious last night. And my friend, who I love dearly, no one loves Trump more than me, that son of a bitch did it again. He did it again. We're coming. We're going to kill you. It's going to be and we're not going to do it. No. The deal is now a couple of days away. And we'll get into the details of the deal. It's a bad deal. President Trump is going to be angry with me when he hears this, but maybe I didn't get the details correct. I hope I didn't, because in this deal, eventually, and maybe sooner than later, we are going to loosen sanctions and restrictions, which will be, not could be, which will be billions of dollars to the Iranians. Now, they're not going to build schools. They're not going to build hospitals. They're going to continue with their nuclear program, no matter what they tell Trump. We already know this from the Barack Obama-John Kerry deal, okay? And they may even go back and fund some of those terror proxies, the Houthis and Hamas and Hezbollah. So I don't know. What I'm hearing is not good. And I was really hoping that Trump would level him last night, but then again, I wasn't. Well, Sid, which one is it? Well, I'm having this fight in my head because until we do what Trump keeps threatening, we don't win. This deal, what I've seen, again, I could be wrong, what I've seen is not a win. We level them, we knock out the IRGC, okay? We call the shots, it's a win. But my daughter's there. And I speak to Ava a bunch every day. Ava is not the biggest Trump fan, unlike her dad. So I tell her, I go, Ava, I know you don't love this, but if you really want to be updated, because she'll call me every hour. Dad, what are you hearing? What did Trump say? I said, Ava, do yourself a favor. Download Truth Social. Daddy, stop it. Stop it. I go, Ave, you want to know what's going on? The beauty about Trump is he tells you, okay? Now, every now and then he tries to fake you out. I get that. But 99% of the time he tells you. So you don't have to call me. Next thing you know, I start getting photos sent to my WhatsApp from Tel Aviv, and it's all the President Trump Truth Social posts with a laugh my ass off and a this and a that. I said, all right, there's good news. He's not going to bomb him tonight. So you don't have to worry. Even though, again, Israel is not involved or was not involved the last couple of days in that campaign. And the truth is, Iran did not go after Israel the last couple of days. Instead, they went after Arab neighbors, Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain. You just don't know. If America really, really unloads on Iran, which we should do. I'm sorry, I disagree with the president. I just want to kill people. If we do that, then I do believe Iran would go hard at Israel, and my daughter's there. And then, less selfishly, because I would die today for my daughter and my son, I would gladly give my life today to give them 100 years. I'm supposed to go Thursday in 6 days. But I was waiting to see what happened last night, and now that again, we're the boy that cried wolf, because a deal is imminent. At this point, at this moment, at 6:28 on this Friday morning, I am going to go. Just a couple of days. I'm really going for the 3-day JNS International Policy Summit. You've heard me talk about it. I did it last year. This is the second annual. Takes place at the beautiful Waldorf Astoria Hotel in downtown Jerusalem. It starts off Sunday night, next Sunday night, Father's Day, actually. That's kind of crappy. That'll be alone. Well, not alone. There'll be 1,000 people there, but not with Danielle, Ava, or Gabriel. So next Sunday night, it's a 3-night, or 3-day, I should say, summit. And they kick it off every year, 2 years now, with Bibi Netanyahu. Pretty good way to kick it off. But this year, even before Bibi, because he has to be in America, he has to do it on Sunday night instead of Tuesday. Our great ambassador, who's going to join me this morning, live from Israel, Mike Huckabee. He's going to speak on Sunday night, too. So you get Huckabee, you get Bibi, then you get a whole bunch of speakers Monday, and they save me, huge honor, for the very last block when they close it out on Tuesday night. Me, Ron Dermer, Victoria Coates, you got Morton Klein, you got the big one, Mark Levin. We all speak on Tuesday night. So that's really why I'm going. I'm going to be there for, I think, 5 days. That's it. But 3 of those days center around Alex Trayman and JNS.org's International Policy Summit. And I think you'd have to agree, hearing that speaker list, Noam, that I'd be crazy not to take advantage of that honor. No?
Yeah, and I think you'll be fine.
I think we'll be fine, too. Yeah. So the question becomes now, are most Americans relieved that we didn't blow up Iran last night, or do they feel like, oh, here we go again? Now, do you have the details of this deal, Noam?
I can get the details, but I can essentially tell you, and I looked at them now a couple days ago, or maybe there's revisions to what I've seen. It's not a lot different than President Obama's deal with Iran, because a lot of it gives them all this money back, takes the sanctions away, billions of dollars will go back, just like they did.
You can't do that.
I know, but I'm telling you, this deal is not a lot different.
Well, that's
and they'll tell you it is, but I'm looking at it.
That's what I just said. It's Obama 2.0.
Yeah,
I just said the same thing. So you and I are on the same page.
Yeah.
Now, again, I've got great guests coming on today. KT McFarland. She's worked with 4 presidents on foreign policy, including President Trump. She'll know details. Mike Huckabee, live in Israel. Hopefully he'll know details. Victoria Coates, she's as good as it gets. She should know details, but I'm going to say this. I don't care what Iran promises us. It means nothing, because they're not going to comply, right? Oh, no. Yeah, you can come, bring inspectors. We're going to stop enriching uranium. They're lying. We're going to fall for that. They're lying. I don't care. The Strait of Hormuz, great, fantastic. Regime change, whatever they promise, it doesn't even matter, because who cares about a signature on a piece of paper? They never comply. My fear is what we're promising. And if you and I are both right, and I think we are, and somewhere down the road Iran gets money, no matter what else happens, this is a disastrous deal.
It's not down the road, by the way. The money.
How far?
Well, because they desperately need it now.
I know.
So they'll say, okay, we're going to pause enriching uranium.
But we got to send people in there to make sure they're actually doing that before we give them money, right?
And it's 15 to 20 years, by the way, which is very similar to what the Obama
Well, Obama was only 5 to 10 years.
Right, but they also had, we'll get in there, we'll get to see what's going on, and that didn't seem to really happen.
No, they were cheating. They lied every day. They're going to do the same thing to Trump.
And then they'd have to end any form of a naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. And then we would unlock these frozen funds.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I don't like it.
20 billion, 25 billion, that's the number I've seen thrown around.
Oh, God. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I heard upwards of $100 billion.
And that could be right, too.
$100 billion to these savages. Here is Lewis, President Trump, yesterday on this deal, which President Trump says now is days away. Again, I'm not sure that's good news. I love Trump more than anybody, and I want us to win. And I want Israel to be safe, and most importantly, America and all the good nations around the world to be safe. But this deal, for me, looks like a dud, like Obama 2.0. I'd love Trump to come on and tell me differently, but he's not going to come on. He's not going to do it. Here is Trump. This is cut to Lewis on this deal getting done potentially by the end of the weekend.
We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran.
So.
And we're going to be subject to finalization of documents. We should get done over the next few days.
Okay. And he's saying what he's been saying all along, which is the oil prices will drop dramatically. Who's that ass munch from Maryland who went to visit the gang member in El Salvador? And he's really one of the worst politicians in America. Chris Van Hollen, is that his name?
Yeah.
He says Trump is lying. Trump's not lying. You're a liar, Chris Van Hollen, you dick face. Oh, my God, I just called him the same thing I called Alan Snippen. They were still talking about me on that stupid board last night. How I'm low class. And
right.
Alan Snippen, his last post, and this is how you know these people have no right commenting on local radio because they know nothing. Bunch of old engineers and losers. Alan Snippen actually said in his second and final post on this thread, be careful, Sid. You ready for this? You want to laugh? Curtis is on your heels.
Oh no. Wait,
Hey,
he's
Alan,
threatening that?
Alan, are you paying any attention?
Yeah.
Curtis has been on the air for over 3 months. He can't get a 2. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. People at all can't believe how badly I'm still beating Curtis. When you add Long Island, I'm over a 6. He's less than a 2. If you exclude Long Island, I'm in the 5s. He's less than a 2. He's nowhere near my heels. It's been an embarrassing couple of months for Curtis Sliwa back on radio. But, again, don't let the facts get in the good way of a good Sid bashing. So I did call Chris Van Hollen the same thing I just called Alan Sniffen. But he called Trump a liar. Here's what Trump had to say yesterday about the oil prices. Louis, this is cut number 3.
We'll have oil prices dropping like a rock.
Like a rock. They're going to drop like a rock. You think that's true? No?
I don't know. I've heard him say it a lot, and gas prices are still incredibly high.
Well, because we haven't ended the war yet. Take it easy. I don't like you have no confidence. I just don't.
Well, look, people pay them anyway because you got to get to where you're going. But it just sucks that you're spending more money on gas now. And then, of course, it affects the entire economy.
I don't spend more money on gas. I haven't driven a car in 9 years.
Right, because you don't drive. But a lot of people do.
Somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago if I missed driving. At one point I had like 3 beautiful cars. I couldn't drive any of them. And I can walk into Mike Iannelli's dealership this morning, Genesis of Brooklyn, and the Genesis is a beautiful car. I mean, we've got a Porsche. The Genesis is like right there with it. In fact, there are some of the things that you get in a Genesis I like even more than the Porsche. And I can walk in there this morning and get the best deal ever on a brand new, beautiful car, but I just don't need it here in the city. Because, one thing about New York, you can bash it all you want, and there's plenty to bash, plenty. There's nowhere I can't get without some form of public transportation, between a bus, a train, a ferry. Where do I need to drive? Even Long Island, I could take the Long Island Railroad. Even Jersey. I go to Jersey all the time. I take the ferry, the C Streak, or Jersey Transit. So, I used to make fun of Steve Summers, Louis, because he's been holed up in an Upper West or Upper East Side apartment with Robin for 100 years. He also never drives. And I'm like, who lives like that? And oh, my God, I live like that. But this is, I guess this is probably the only place in the world you can do that, right?
It's one of the few. And, I mean, you can go so far on,
so far
on one fare.
Right. I mean, I lived in Florida for 16 years, and I couldn't imagine not having a car there. Now, I did the last couple of years, obviously, and my producer, Steve Zemak, would drive me all around town, and Danielle would as well. But I could never be in a place like Florida for an extended period of time without getting back my license and driving and all that. But here, I just, I don't even think about it,
That's why New Yorkers, for the most part, are in pretty good shape because you got to walk to the subway and walk out of it. And then you go to Florida and everybody's 800 pounds.
Right. Well, they don't do anything.
Because they get into a car.
Well, that's actually not true because the one thing about Florida, where I lived, in Boca, these are Long Island people on steroids. There's not a female lady, there's not a lady in Boca that hasn't had her ass done, her boobs done, her lips done. She's in the gym all day. She's playing tennis in the afternoon. She's blowing dust up her nose and barely eating at night. That's Boca. Everybody's in great shape. I hate to tell you that. They're not fat. They're not fat. Fort Lauderdale, same thing. Miami, same thing. Don't forget, they're outdoors all year. They're wearing bathing suits 10 months a year. That is a very, very vain place.
But you go north to Tampa or Orlando.
Well, yeah,
it doesn't look like
it's
that.
a little less.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, the West Coast is goyim. They're not like the Jews. So they're very happy wearing flannel shirts and jeans in 90 degrees, or either too skinny or too fat. But even Tampa, St. Pete, and Clearwater is starting to become like that, too. You got to go north to, like, Opelika, horse country, somewhere south of Tallahassee. And then you start to see some people that look like they must have spent last night in that bar scene in Star Wars or the waiting room in Beetlejuice. Right. These are like really odd-looking people, like one eye. They only have one eye, and they haven't served in the war, like one limb. And they live in a house with three-legged dogs and bicycles with like one wheel and broken windows, those types of folks, But down south in Florida, no, it's anything but. The people there are in much better shape than New York, much better shape. Because don't forget, here, we go about 5 months a year. You can wear your Michigan sweatshirt, your Ohio State sweatshirt, get fat. No one knows.
Well, that's true.
Down there, you're at the beach every day. Ain't going to happen. And they have a lot of Europeans down there, too. A lot. And those people, and Brazilians, and so all they do, all they worry about is working out. So my experience living down there for 16 years, that's a long time. That's a large sample is. They are some of the most vain people in the world, South Florida. Anyway, let's get to Markwayne Mullin. This is my favorite audio of the day, Noam Laden. Markwayne Mullin happens to be the Homeland Secretary. He replaced Kristi Noem, who got fired. And I've always liked Markwayne. He was a senator from the great state of Oklahoma. I thought he was a great choice to replace Kristi. And he lowered the boom on our crappy mayor, this lowlife Mamdani, yesterday. And here it is. Markwayne Mullin, Lewis, cut number 5, talking about bringing ICE to New York. You've heard the threats from Tom Homan. They're not threats. Kathy Hochul, it's not a threat. It's a promise, you dingbat. It's not a threat. They're coming. I want them to come. But they're menacing. They wear masks. Hey, Kathy, how can you not get upset when the pro-Hamas people are wearing masks? When they are legitimately terrorizing Jewish students and everyday New Yorkers. You never once tried to ban their masks. They did it in Nassau County. Bruce Blakeman did it. Mazi Pilip did it. Kathy Hochul is such a lying biatch. She doesn't care when pro-Hamas wears masks. But ICE, they're menacing. Good. I'm glad they're menacing. They're taking out a bunch of criminals. They're not going into schools, you lying, thieving witch. They're not going into churches. You biatch. You're a liar. You're a filthy, disgusting liar. You and the mayor. Here's Markwayne Mullin lowering the boom.
You spoke about Mayor Mamdani and sanctuary cities. How do you envision the operations from your department in New York or other sanctuary cities as compared to what happened in Minnesota or California prior to you being secretary?
When you take somebody like Mamdani, who is just this radical socialist, that's anti-law enforcement, anti-police, it's shameful because NYPD is awesome. They're phenomenal to work with. They have the best crowd procedures. They have the best law enforcement agency. I'd put them up against just about any city around the country. And they have a pride about them of doing so. But you got a mayor that's not allowing them to do their job. And it's shameful. All these guys in the NYPD, they just want to go to work. They want to do something that they feel like they were called to do. And they're great at it. But they got a leader that's handcuffing them. And hopefully the people of New York will wise up and get a true leader in there in a few years.
How would your operations look different than Minnesota or California?
Well, if we had partnership with NYPD, we could clean that city up in 30 days. I mean that sincerely. We could clean that up with President Trump's leadership and us flexing with the ability we have. We've seen it happen in Memphis. We've seen it happen in New Orleans. We've seen it happen right here in Washington, D.C. We know how to do it. We just got to have, politics set aside and let law and order be the mainstream of why we decide we're going to do what we're going to do.
You like him, though?
What's not to like?
Okay, good. I love him too. Markwayne Mullin, our Secretary of Homeland Security, and he's like, we cleaned up all these other cities, which is a fact. Yeah, you have to understand, the mayor in Washington, D.C., Bowser, she hated Trump. She probably still does, but even she went on record and said, you know what? The city is safer. She admitted it. Memphis is better. All these places are better, but we don't need it in New York. No, we're doing so well, aren't we? Yesterday, somebody else got beat up on the subway. I saw that. Every night the Knicks win or lose and people get arrested. They get arrested. This is not a pro-Hamas rally. This is not Occupy Wall Street. This is the Knicks in the NBA Finals, a celebratory time for New York, and we get 20 to 30 arrests every night. 2 nights ago, there was actually a car or a bunch of people with Palestinian flags. Palestinian flags. Let me ask you a question. If Sid Rosenberg is mayor, and this is a crazy hypothetical, do you think I'm going to allow a Palestinian flag, chalk it up to First Amendment? Well, I'm going to tell my cops, take that flag out of those people's hands and throw it to the ground. I wouldn't even want an American flag, and I'm America first. It's a Nick rally. But this mayor encourages it. He loves it. I don't want to fix things in this city. It's still a dangerous city. You know, yeah, some of the crime numbers are down. Great. Shootings are down. Murders are down. Not murders on the subway. That's up 400%. Innocent women are still getting punched across the face every day in New York City. Rape is up like 200%. I don't know. Rape is a pretty serious thing, don't you think? No?
It is.
Yeah. Junkies all over the street, piss and duty, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Now, do I love it here? Yes. Did I come back voluntarily? Yes. Am I leaving anytime soon? Probably not. But I'm not going to lie about it because I love it. It's no good. It's not good. Hochul and Mamdani, no good. Jessica Tisch doing the best she can. She's in an impossible situation. Anybody who's critical of Tisch is dumb. That's right, I just said it. Even Jim Dolan, who I thought was amazing a couple of days ago with Craig Carton, why he lowered the boom on Jesse, I have no idea. It's dumb. She's doing the best. She's got 3 hands tied behind her back. 3. She agrees with all of us. She is completely rational. She's completely sane. She loves everybody, including the Jews, unlike the mayor. What do you want her to do? And for you folks that want her to leave, how's that going to go? And Mahmoud Khalil is your new police commissioner. How's that going to go, folks? Be careful what you wish for. Stop hammering Jesse. She's doing the best she can with a mayor, as Markwayne Mullin said, that doesn't care. If you're a female and you're walking right out here on 3rd Avenue today and you get punched across the face, but you scratch the bad guy during the altercation, the mayor will go visit the guy who threw the punch. How do I know that? I've got examples of it. Don't ask me how I know that, Katie Honan. I got to tell you who's been better lately. And I like her. You know, she tried to get to me, and I embarrassed her. Let's have an honest conversation. I embarrassed her. And I'm talking about Melissa Russo at NBC. But the more I watch her, she's actually pretty good. She's pretty sane. No, she's not that wacky like Kristen Welker NBC. She's not like that.
No, she's been a City Hall reporter forever, and she'll take on the mayor.
I like her.
No qualms
I think I like her. Marsha Kramer Marsha Kramer. Yeah, that's right. I used to call her Marsha Clark. Marsha Kramer is way too nice to the mayor. I know Marsha is the OG, and when Marsha comes to these studios, when Katsimatidis does something, she always shows up, and she's always very nice. And I think she knows who I am. She always says hello, calls me baby, darling, all those cute things. But she is way too nice to the mayor. Like, she annoys me. Marsha Kramer annoys me. The other one, Channel 5, Morgan McKay or Mackay. How do you say her name? Mackay, right? It's spelt McKay, but it's Mackay. She's okay. Melissa Russo is growing on me, but Marsha Kramer is way too nice to the mayor. She'll wear a Met hat. I mean, she's starting to sound like Whoopi Goldberg sometimes. Take it easy, Marsha. Anything else new with the mayor today?
He was talking to Eyewitness News yesterday about everything that's going on outside of the MSG during these Knicks parties. So, they finally got all the numbers together from Wednesday night after the Knicks won, had that great come from behind win. In the end, they end up it was the worst night of all. They made 50 arrests on Wednesday night.
Right, this is the greatest comeback win in New York sports history.
Yeah.
And they had more arrests after the win than the two prior nights, which were terrible combined.
Yeah, and 10 officers were hurt. One of them was hit in the head with a bottle. I mean, these were pretty vicious attacks that took place.
Kids, stop it.
Yeah.
It's just kids being kids.
And they had set up the security perimeter around Madison Square Garden. So they weren't going to let anybody get close on Wednesday night. So this was outside the perimeter. This was all taking place.
Right. So what are they going to do for Saturday night?
Well, the mayor said to Eyewitness News again yesterday that he's ready to put a party back there at MSG right outside the arena.
Yeah.
And then I guess are they going to do the in-person one? I don't know. But, sometimes.
Inside the arena. I'm sure they're going to show the game.
I would imagine
we've got
they'll
a chance
do that
to win
again.
the championship that night.
Yeah, I imagine they will. So this would be outside on those big TVs. And, there's this back and forth between him and James Dolan. James pulled the plug on him on Wednesday. Now
He'll do it again. Dolan will do it again. There's some story in today's New York Post, and I'm not sure if it's like an editorial or a story. And the writer says that Dolan is going to have to pretty much bury the hatchet with Mamdani once the Knicks win the championship, which is going to come. San Antonio is not winning 3 consecutive games. So we're going to win the championship. May not be tomorrow night. In fact, odds are the Spurs will hold serve and send this back to New York. A lot of fans want to see the Knickerbockers win it here on Tuesday anyway. But regardless, there's going to be a parade in this city. And the writer wrote in today's New York Post that Dolan needs to find a way to bury the hatchet. I don't agree with that. I want Dolan to hammer Mamdani like he did with Craig Carton when he said he doesn't care about the city, when he said he's not a Knick fan, quote, he's not a Knick fan. I want Dolan to continue that narrative, not be nice because the team won, because Mamdani's a filthy liar. That's what he is. If you forgot what Wednesday sounded like, that amazing comeback and the reason why our Knicks have a chance to win their first championship in 53 years tomorrow night in San Antonio, Texas, the amazing Hall of Fame voice of the New York Knicks, one of my dear friends for the last 25 years, Mike Breen, one of his greatest calls, very reminiscent of one Howie Rose. Mato in 1994 when the Rangers broke a 50-plus year drought and won the Stanley Cup. Let's go back to Wednesday night and Mike Breen.
Kicks it out in the corner. Brunson gets it back. Brunson on the drive. The floater's up. Shot won't go. Rebound deflected in the backcourt. Fox has a chance to get it. Fox has it inside. Blocked by Anunoby. 9 seconds remaining. 6 seconds remaining. And Mike Brown, where they call a foul, they had a foul to give. So the Knicks will have to inbound.
They might just go flat for Jalen Brunson, allow him to operate at the top, 101.
Brunson gets it, fires up a 3. Shot no good, the chip, it's gone! It's gone! It's gone! With 1.2 remaining, Knicks take the lead. OG Anunoby, and it's 107-106. Bedlam here at the Garden. They can't believe it. Brunson's shot looked good and just came up short. No timeouts left. They have to get it in. Harper lobs it inside. Castle hasn't lost it. That's it. It's over. The greatest comeback in NBA playoff history.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Before we start bringing on all these amazing guests today, which include Brian Kilmeade and KT McFarland, Victoria Coates, Bruce Blakeman, Joe Tacopina, and live from Israel, the big one, Mike Huckabee. There's this new thing, Noam, that liberals are doing, and Sid Rosenberg haters, and there are a lot of them. That's how you know I'm doing so well, a lot of them, here in New York and around the country. And what they do now is that they don't really argue with me when it comes to content, when it comes to my political points, my newsy points. They don't do it. Why? Because they can't, right? I'm going to win 95% of every argument against a liberal because they're stupid and they're dangerous. They are. Democrats, liberals, they're stupid and they're dangerous. They think they're the smartest and they live on this moral high ground, and people like Rosenberg and Trump are cavemen, and I get all that. In the meantime, they're the big degenerates. See, I tell you I watch porn, okay? You guys, you do stuff a lot more deviant, and you act like you don't. You see what I'm saying, Noam? That's the difference. Republicans will tell you we do something. You guys do it, and you watch stuff that I wouldn't even dream about watching.
Well, most Republicans probably wouldn't admit to watching porn.
They would or wouldn't?
No, they would not.
Mm-hmm. No, why not?
I don't know.
What's the big deal?
I just disagree with you. I think Republicans wouldn't tell you that they watch porn.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had a couple tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name.
Well, I can't do that.
Oh.
They'd have to do it themselves.
Why?
But the point is, we're open about stuff. They act like they're not, and they do the same stuff, if not worse. You can't trust those people. So here's what they do now. Every argument about Sid is, I mean, you still get the Sid is a Trump cheerleader. I love when people go, I can't listen to Sid. I listen for 20 minutes. All he does is wave the pom-poms for Trump. Clearly you don't listen for more than 20 minutes because I've been asking questions about Iran like every liberal host in the country does. I don't bash the president. I still place my faith and love in the president, and I do think he will win eventually. But I am certainly no cheerleader, especially with the Iran conflict. Is that fair to say, no?
I think we've been pretty vocal about that.
Very vocal about it. So you're lying. That's okay. So now they do this. Where do they go? Well, not going to go after Sid about Trump. They also try once in a while. Curtis did this, which was shameful. He used to basically beg me to get him to Jewish events so he can get Jewish votes. And then when he got his ass kicked, he blamed the Jews. And now he says all Sid talks about is Israel, which, of course, is a lie. So they got that, too. But here's what they do. It all started, as I mentioned yesterday, on a Sunday night as the Seattle Seahawks were taking apart the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. And Bad Bunny hit the stage. And he did a whole halftime show in Spanish. And I was live on Brian Kilmeade's Fox News show that night with the great Clay Travis. And I went nuts. Not a word of English, not a word. And the following night, Monday night, on Comedy Central, Jon Stewart played that video of me screaming that, paused, got a lot of laughs from the crowd, and then went on to beat me up over my tan. I guess he was the first to call me Thanos. Right? Since then, you've got even Barstool. What's that guy's name? Kevin Clancy, KFC Barstool. He referred to me as Jewish Thanos. So even yesterday, you guys remember Peter Rosenberg?
Yeah, he's the radio guy, right?
Yeah, no relation. So he used to work at, what was it, Hot 97 or one of these hip-hop stations. He's a fat white Jewish kid, a liberal pussy with a capital P, and he's working on some, like, urban station, because he thinks he's black. I don't know. But he also did afternoons on ESPN with Michael Kay, who's a liberal. I love Mike, but liberal. Don LaGreca, another liberal. So they all got along, just fine. And every now and then he would take me to task. So my son Gabriel would take the school bus to school, and they would not put me on. They would never do that. Not a New York City school, those liberals, even though his daddy's on the air, they put on Peter Rosenberg. And I would get texts from Gabriel almost 2 or 3 times a month, and he would say, oh, my God, Daddy, Peter Rosenberg is beating you up again. I said, Gaby, take that as a badge of honor. Don't worry about it. Your dad, I can handle myself. So now if the Jon Stewart and Barstool and the countless people who talk about me being purple, not true. Everywhere I go, and you've both seen this, Lou and Noam, everybody goes, man, you look amazing. Where'd you get that tan? I go, what do you mean where'd I get that tan? It's 95 degrees outside. I live on the beach in Queens. I don't got to go to Hawaii to get this. Right here in New York. Oh, my God, you look great. Every day, every event, they go nuts over the tan. So now the left, because they can't argue with me politically, they have this new thing, Thanos, you're purple. Look at me right now, guys. I'm not purple. Not even close to being purple. I'm bronze. I'm gold. I look healthy. Not a fat, white, bunch of scraggly hair on my face, out-of-shape Jew who would never, ever, ever get an opportunity to do TV while he's doing radio. So Peter Rosenberg comes at me on Instagram yesterday and says, hey, whatever color you are, that's not normal for a human being. I say, Pete, listen to me carefully. Keep bashing Trump. Do what you got to do. But the day where I start taking tips from you on how I look, Pete, on my worst day, I look 10 times better than you on your best day. I said, I'll retire before I start taking physical tips from fat little pudgy white guy Pete Rosenberg, okay?
Yeah, sounds like a fun interchange.
Oh, yeah, it was good. I haven't checked to see if he got back to me, but that is a new thing. So you'll see all over Twitter and all over Instagram, Rosenberg, purple, Rosenberg, blah, blah, blah. Because when it comes down to a real debate over substance, I kill him. So they make fun of my tent. And notice this, too. Nobody good looking is doing it. You're not seeing men that are pinup models. You're not seeing great looking guys. Who is it? It's always the guy whose avatar is a dog, whose avatar is a cat, whose avatar is a bird, who's a fat, pudgy white guy who hasn't seen the sun in 50 years. Like, I haven't found one person know him yet, like a good-looking guy, rugged, good-looking guy who talked about what I look like physically. It's always people that are, again, on my worst day, they're not going to come anywhere close. It sounds dicky, but is it not true, Noam? Is it not true?
Wayne, I was just, because I'm not that familiar with Peter Rosenberg, so I looked him up just to see while you were talking about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I walk in a room, I get looks. Yeah. Is that going to get any looks at all?
This guy looks like he's down in a box of ho-hos.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the case with all these guys. All of them. The guy from Barstool, he may be funny, okay? I've actually graced 3 covers of magazines. 3 I've been on the cover. Did it in my 50s, and I'll be 60 next year. So, do your thing, folks. You want to have a real conversation, we can do that. You want to keep talking about my tan, that's fine. I'm going to go to Israel next week, and I'll be really purple. We'll take a short break. When we get back, he's our colleague here at WABC, but also has 2 hit shows on Fox News, Fox and Friends every morning, and, of course, his own show, One Nation, 10 p.m. on Sunday nights.
This is Sid on Sports. Oh, my goodness! Sponsored by Peerless Boilers on 77 WABC.
Justin Ellick here with your sports update, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. All looking ahead to tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. out in San Antonio, Game 5 of the NBA Finals, where our Knicks are up commandingly 3-1, and they head into, I should say, San Antonio tomorrow night. It's 5.5-point road underdogs in a game where they can secure their first NBA title since 1973. In Queens on the diamond, Juan Soto hit a go-ahead homer in the 7th, and the Mets earned a 5-4 win over the Cardinals to avoid being swept for the 6th time this season. Up next, Nola McLean starts the opener of a 3-game set against the visiting Braves tonight. First pitch from Citi Field scheduled for 7:15. Yankees will pick up their action today as well after an off day yesterday. They're in Toronto over the weekend against the Blue Jays. Game 1 of 3 tonight, 7:30. Ryan Weathers will get the start there. Yanks are tied for first in the AL East with Tampa Bay. On the ice, Stanley Cup Final, Game 5. Hurricanes doubling up the Golden Knights down in Carolina, and they take a 3-2 series lead in the form of a 4-2 victory last night. 1 win away from that Stanley Cup. And as Noah mentioned, the World Cup beginning tonight in the United States and Paraguay, 9 p.m. coming up later on tonight. That is your sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com. Find a dealer near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best boilers. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays. Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Our country taking on Paraguay. We start our World Cup soccer action for our team tonight. So Kilmeade will join us in the 9 o'clock hour. Joe Tacopina, Victoria Coates, KT McFarland. And the big one coming up live from Israel, right after Noam does the news, is our ambassador, the great Mike Huckabee. You know, I got to listen all week long, and I got to read stuff all week long. Anytime I tweet anything, not even about Israel, not about the Jews, what do I get on my Twitter feed? Get out of here, kike. I get it all the time, you know. Baby killer, genocide. I could be talking about the Knicks. Now, if I do tweet or put something up about Israel like I did last night, a picture of me and Bibi, because I'm going back to Israel on Thursday, forget about it. Oh, the names they call me. Unbelievable. And what these morons don't understand, because they don't go to Israel, they just listen to some podcast hosted by an anti-Semite, you know, is we're not genocidal. We're the only decent people, the only real democracy in the Middle East. And let me give you a perfect example about that today. My daughter Ava is still there. She'll be there till Tuesday. She's staying in Tel Aviv with her girlfriends. You know where she's going today? You can't make this up. She's going in Tel Aviv to what is a huge, I mean huge, gay pride parade. You know that, Noam?
It's the biggest gay pride parade in Europe, actually.
Yeah. So while these other Arab nations, who all you Americans love because Israel's the bad guy, while they're throwing gays off the roofs, while these stupid, fat, ugly LGBTQFBGINZ march around New York calling out Israel, you dumb bastards, they've got a parade for you morons today. No one else in the Arab world does that. Nobody. They want to kill you. Will somebody please send this to somebody in that community so they can learn something? While you're marching with pro-Hamas, you dumb bastards, Israel today's got a huge parade for you. Huge. I got more news for you, dummies. It's not just a parade today. In the month of July, again in Tel Aviv, they actually take a whole week and dedicate it to the LGBTQ community. Did you know that? No.
I did not.
Yeah. So today on June 13th, whatever it is, there's the biggest gay pride parade in the Middle East, almost as big, if not bigger, than we've got here in New York. And then they dedicate a whole week in July to the gays. And these morons, Queers for Palestine, do their thing. Nobody cares to know the truth. Nobody. So Mike Huckabee, the amazing ambassador, you know, David Friedman was President Trump's ambassador the first time, and Friedman, I thought, was spectacular. He also played a major role, David, in the Abraham Accords, along with President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and a host of others. But Trump didn't bring him back. I think Trump wanted somebody who was not Jewish, you know, and David Friedman is a wonderful man, but he's very, very loud about wanting to get sovereignty in Judea and Samaria. A lot of Christians and Arabs don't like that. And, you know, David is very pro-Israel. And I think President Trump wanted somebody, I don't know this for a fact, Trump never sat me down and told me this, but my guess is he wanted somebody that would appeal more to the Arab community, which David Friedman never would. And I believe that's why he made the change to go with Huckabee, who's a Christian, over David Friedman the second time. I could be wrong. Either way, they're both great. Friedman was phenomenal, and Mike Huckabee is doing a terrific job. Mike Huckabee is going to speak with me as part of that 3-night summit in Jerusalem next week. Me, him, Bibi, Dermer, you name it, Mark Levin. So we're going to talk to the American ambassador to Israel under President Trump, Mike Huckabee.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Live in Israel this morning. Can't wait to see him next week. My friend Mike Huckabee. Mike, good morning. How are you, Mr. Ambassador?
I'm doing great, Sid. You're always doing great. So if I can just hang out with you, I'll be doing better.
You're sweet. You are very, very nice, Michael. Thank you. And I did say good morning. It's afternoon where you are. And, my daughter is there right now, Mike. I've got one daughter and one son. And she's 22, and she's been in Tel Aviv for the week. And she calls me every hour, Daddy, what's Trump going to do next? And what's going to happen? Because there's still a sense of fear in Israel that even though Israel's not involved in the latest bombing campaign, that, they may get hit. But I got to tell you before I get to all that, my daughter today is doing something that I want the LGBTQ community to hear, or the Queers for Palestine, Mike, all these people. My daughter today is going to a huge gay pride parade in Tel Aviv. That is the democracy that is Israel. So for all the folks here, the LGBTQ community, Queers for Palestine, genocidal, we've got the biggest gay pride parade in the Middle East. Does that not speak to the great democracy that is Israel?
I think a lot of people may not understand that there are not any of those kind of parades going on anywhere else in the region. So whatever you may think of whether there ought to be a full month of gay pride, that's not the issue. The point is that in Israel, there is freedom. There is freedom of speech. There is freedom of association. There is freedom of religion. People can be not just Jewish. They can be Christian. They can be Muslim. They can be atheist. And they have a place. And it's one of those things that you cannot say that of countries in the rest of this region. So for all of the talk about Israel being apartheid or genocidal, it's all absolute blood libels. And the truth is, there is an extraordinary life that people live here. It's not perfect, but no country is, including the one that I love the most, the United States of America. But it is a remarkable place where the standard of living is better than anything in the region, and the freedom and the capacity to choose one's future is amazing, and the innovations, the technology, it's a pretty remarkable place. And one thing that when people in the U.S. talk about Israel, they think that everybody here is hunkered down and just scared to death. The truth is, Israelis wake up every day. They know people have guns and cannons and missiles pointed at them, but they wake up every day and they live their lives with a real sense of zest and celebration. And it's the resilience of the Israelis that is amazing.
Couldn't agree more. And now that you brought it up, a full month of gay pride is ridiculous. I'm sorry. But I feel that way about everything. There shouldn't be Black month. There shouldn't be gay month. I wouldn't want Jewish month, okay? Give me a one day, have your parade like we do Israeli Day Parade in New York. Have a good time, and that's it. The whole month thing, I think, becomes perverse. That's just my opinion. But let me get back to my daughter, too, in Israel, because, again, she's been nervous. So for me, it was kind of twofold last night, Mike. I really wanted President Trump to hammer Iran 2 months ago. You remember that Tuesday night? That Tuesday night he was going to light up the sky. Civilization was going to end as we know it. And he didn't do it. He gave him another 10 days. And I want him to do it then. And I still want him to do it. But on the other hand, my daughter is there. I want to go there next Thursday. And I know that if we really, really do damage in Iran, that eventually they're going to get to Israel. And that's going to put those people in danger. So for me, I'm kind of conflicted. On one hand, I want President Trump to do what he really should have done 2 months ago, which is just annihilate him. But on the other hand, I'm worried about relatives and people in Israel who do have to suffer the consequences because, Mike, they can't hit Little Rock. They can't hit Brooklyn or Cincinnati, but they can certainly hit Tel Aviv.
They most certainly can. And now they have the capacity, as we know, because they shot a missile 4,100 kilometers, not just 2,000, which before, even in the last year, was their range, which means they can pretty much hit any city in Europe. And that threat ought to make the Europeans have a different posture, but unfortunately nothing seems to get them off their bubble, and that's a whole other discussion. But one thing I would just say is that there is a different posture that Israel has than any other country in the region because they know that they have always been under threat. So they have ubiquitous shelter systems throughout the country, and they have a missile defense system that is so sophisticated that 92% of the incoming missiles from Iran were intercepted, and the ones that weren't did minimal damage. It really was remarkable because in 6 weeks of very, very intense combat, there was less damage to significant structures and to civilian targets and to major assets than there was in the 12-day war of last summer. So even our mission personnel, we obviously closed mission facilities. We had people working from home. We were sheltering in place. We were taking all the precautions. It would shock most Americans to know that not one person was injured or killed who was in the shelter at the time of a missile attack. Not one. Sid, that's unbelievable if you stop and think about it. A ballistic missile is the size of an 18-wheel truck, and it comes in at hundreds of miles an hour, supersonic speed, with a significant warhead. And the fact that no one was killed or injured if they went into the shelter like they were supposed to is just a remarkable, I would call it a miracle.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is the amazing Ambassador Mike Huckabee live in Israel this morning. So let's say that this deal goes through the next couple of days. Here's my fear, Mike Huckabee, okay? And it's a legitimate fear. I saw this deal already. And you know I love Trump. I love him. I adore him. He loves me too. We've got an unbelievable relationship like you two guys have. But I saw this deal already, okay? So somewhere in this deal, once Iran acts like they're going to comply, and they're not going to, I don't care what piece of paper they signed. They're not going to comply, ever. They did it with Obama. They're going to do it to Trump, okay? And somewhere in this deal, I know they're going to get money. And when they get their sanctions loosened up, what do? They don't build hospitals, Mike. They don't build schools. No, they find more ways to get uranium, even with a deal in place, or they'll give money to their terror proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. I can't think of any deal that I would call even decent if somewhere down the road, maybe sooner than later, Iran gets money. That's my fear.
It's a legitimate fear. And even though those are very clear things that are being said in the open press, I've come to realize don't take the press's word at what President Trump will do, because I have a real sense of trust in his instincts. A lot of times, even I've heard things that maybe he would say in a press conference, and I'm thinking, oh, what does that mean? But when he got down to it, this is a person who has kept his promises. And he has said there will be no nuclear enrichment. Iran will never have nuclear weapons, and we're not going to give them money. So I'm just going to take what he said rather than what the press says he says, and stick with that, because I have an innate confidence that this is a man who has led in a way I've never seen a president as strong as he is, never seen one who did what he said as effectively as he has, and I'm going to put my money on him right now.
Me too. Me too. But, there are people that are saying, come on, man, he's like the boy that cried wolf. He keeps telling Iran, we're going to hammer you, we're going to hammer you. You know what, we'll wait 10 days. And there are some, not supporters like you and I, because I'm with you, my faith and love, I'm with him, and I think he'll eventually win and do what we have to do. But there are some pretty ardent Trump supporters, Mike, that are saying, come on, man. I mean, at some point, Iran's going to just laugh anytime you threaten them. Is that
yeah. I think it's fair for people to wonder and to question. That's fair, because all they have is what they see, what they get from the press. But here's what I would say to them. Wait until we're in the final ticks of the clock of this game. I've been to a lot of basketball, baseball, and football games that I thought were going south on the team I was rooting for. Right. And then it turns out that at the end of the game, we end up winning. And I just am confident that this president is not going to sell America out. He's not going to sell Israel out. Nobody's ever stood with Israel as solidly as he has. And it's not because of anything other than he understands the strategic value of the relationship we have with Israel. He understands that they're not just a friend or an ally, they are a partner, and that they have been for us the canary in the coal mine. Every enemy of Israel is an enemy of the United States. Whoever wants to destroy them ultimately wants to destroy the U.S. Iran's been saying for 47 years, death to Israel, death to America. Israel has only been the appetizer, but the U.S. has always been the entree for Iran.
I'm not afraid to say this. I love Mike Huckabee. He's our great ambassador on the phone with me right now live from Israel. So the war could be over, Mike, between America and Iran. But is it necessarily over between Israel and Lebanon? I don't know if it's going to be, hey, we'll stop, they'll stop. I'm not sure Bibi is going to agree with that because as far as I know, and you're there, it doesn't seem like Hezbollah's done just about yet. So what is the relationship between the two conflicts?
I think it's very important to remember what Secretary Rubio has been very, very clear about. There is a distinct separation between Iran and Lebanon. Any deal that is made with Iran is not an automatic deal with Lebanon. Those are two separate things. Just because Hezbollah is a puppet proxy of Iran, that's part of the problem. It's one of the more reasons that we need to make sure that Iran is defanged, because it is the mothership not only for Hezbollah, but for Hamas and for the Houthis. And Hezbollah, which is the threat in Lebanon, is in 12 Western Hemisphere countries right now. So this is no longer a Middle East issue. But I can assure you that the Israelis look at this and they understand that if Hezbollah continues to threaten their citizens in the north, as they have done repeatedly over many years, no matter what they say they're going to do, Israel is not going to stand down and allow their people to get hammered. Good. They're just not going to do it.
Good. So you can see a scenario where we have a deal between America and Iran over the next couple of days, but there's still fighting between Israel and Lebanon over that terror proxy.
That conflict between Hezbollah and Israel could end as soon as Hezbollah puts down their weapons. One of the great things that's happened, and I'm involved in all the talks between Lebanon and Israel and the U.S. as we've been meeting in Washington. We'll meet again a week from Monday. Part of what is really become clear, the Lebanese realize they're not at war with Israel. Israel's not at war with Lebanon. The problem is not the two countries. The problem is Hezbollah. If they no longer are a part of the equation, then Lebanon and Israel have peace. And they have a cooperative agreement. They have normalization. The only reason they don't have it now is because of Hezbollah.
Yep.
And neither Lebanon nor Israel is going to look the other way and let Hezbollah continue to mess up their future.
You're right. Talk to Judge Janine Pirro, very proud Lebanese lady. My friend Joseph Aboud, the great men's designer, very proud Lebanese man. And they hate Hezbollah. They hate what's going on between their country and Israel, and they want it to stop. So we are not that far away, Mike Huckabee, from elections. Now, people in America would lead you to believe that everybody hates Bibi, that he's a war criminal, he's a terrible person. The idiot mayor in my city wants to arrest him. He's a real moron. You got Cory Booker in New Jersey a couple of days ago saying that Bibi Netanyahu is the worst person in the world. Mike, the worst person in the world, Cory Booker. I love the guy. I can't wait to see him and you next Sunday in Israel. And my people are telling me that the elections are tomorrow. He will win again for the 6th time in 7 tries. What do you think?
He's like President Trump. Don't ever count him out, and I don't get involved in the intricacies of Israeli politics. It's inappropriate from my position to take a side, but I've had a relationship with the prime minister for over 30 years. I've known him when he was in office. I've known him when he wasn't in office. I will say this is not a political statement. It's a personal one. He has been a friend for a long time. We have an excellent relationship. And I would say of him as I would about President Trump, don't ever count him out.
Last one. Well said, by the way, Mike. Again, I look forward to seeing you. I know you're going to D.C. next Monday, so I'm hoping that means you'll speak on Sunday night to open up the JNS.
I will.
Oh, you are?
I'll see you Sunday night, yes.
Oh, that's great, because I told you this. I wasn't patronizing you, and as great as BB is and Levin and me and all these people, if you don't speak, we don't win. So we need you there. That's great. Last one. You were there right after the war started in 2023. So was I. Here we are, 2.5, almost 3 years later. What does Israel feel like today?
It feels like a nation that, even though they've been hammered and they're exhausted from the war and all of the horrific things that has been done to them physically, but also what's been done to them emotionally from European countries and from Canada and other places around the world who have put all of the pressure on Israel without understanding why they fought as they did to save hostages, including Americans. I'll tell you, I've never seen a nation full of people who have the will, not just to survive, but to thrive. Their stock market is up 100% since October the 7th. They had GDP growth over the last year and a half. That's during 5 wars. They've actually had economic growth. They have the highest per capita income in the region. And it's pretty remarkable when you just look at the facts on the table and you say, how is that possible? Because as Golda Meir famously said in 1973 when asked, what's the secret weapon? You win wars you're not supposed to win. You beat enemies 10 times your size. How do you do it? She said, because we have nowhere else to go. And they understand that.
I love that, too. Mike, we are so lucky to have you. You're a very, very, very special guy. I can't wait to see you in Jerusalem next Sunday night. Thank you for taking your time out. I know how busy you are in doing this today. I love you. I'll see you next week in Israel, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sid. Take care.
God bless you. Mike Huckabee right there, our amazing ambassador, America in Israel, and he's just a wonderful guy. He really is. He's got I'll tell you this. Our country was built on Judeo-Christian values. That's what our country was built on. I have no disdain for the Muslim people. I don't like radical Islam like Mamdani. I have no disdain. But we were built on Judeo-Christian values. I don't know who represents that more, I mean this, than Mike Huckabee. A really special guy. We'll take a break, and the great KT McFarland, she's coming up next.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
What's going on behind us? So we're going to have a fight, and it's going to be on June 14th, and you're invited, and I want to wish you a happy birthday. You're a young man. You have many, many years to go. You're doing a fantastic job. But I want to just wish you a happy birthday, and you don't have to wish me a happy birthday because I'm not happy about that birthday that I'm having. That's a number that I never thought really too much about. It's not a number I like, but I'm here nevertheless.
Well, I'll follow your orders. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Just walked out of the Oval Office, which is back there. And this is the new construction for the big fight this weekend. The president's invited me. It's my birthday, but it's really his birthday, obviously. It's going to be a big celebration there, just a few days away. Lots of fun.
Both birthday boys this weekend. Oz's birthday was actually yesterday. Did you know that, Noam? Your friend and mine, the handsome Dr. Oz. Yesterday, on June 11th, he turned, want to take a guess?
Dr. Oz, I'm going to say, is 72.
66.
Oh my God.
He was born in 1960. So he turned 66. I'm going to save that tape and play it for him when he comes. So
Please do.
Hate you even more. And the big one that President Trump doesn't want to talk about. Trump is not a birthday guy. Andrew Giuliani told me that he's actually seen President Trump get upset with people. Upset. When they mention his birthday. There's a lot of people like that. Bernard was like that, God rest his soul. He'd lie about his actual birth date. So Trump is not a big birthday guy, but he can't avoid it because it's Flag Day. It's also the big UFC event at the White House, and it's a big number. This weekend on Sunday, President Trump turns 80. And he's like, oh, my God, that's a number I didn't really want to talk about. But think of the alternative, right? You'll take it. You don't want to talk about 80, but you'll take it. So Dr. Oz turned 66 yesterday. President Trump turns 80 on Sunday. And KT McFarland turns 35 on Monday. Isn't that right, KT?
Actually, it's in 2 weeks, but thank you.
Are you also a June baby, all kidding aside?
No, actually, I'm a July baby.
Oh, a July baby. July when?
July 22nd.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like July 4th or something. Okay, couple of weeks.
Oh, no, missed that one.
So what happened? Are you like a big, like my wife, for example, I love Danielle. She'll celebrate her birthday for weeks. My daughter's the worst. Her birthday lasts like a month. You know, me, it's like one day, here's a pair of socks, let's move on. Are you the type to, is a one-day birthday celebration? Do you do it for like a couple of weeks with the kids? What do you do?
I have 5 grown children. 11 grandchildren. Nobody remembers my birthday for a minute. So I celebrate it by, maybe I'll take myself out to lunch with a girlfriend, but really nobody's given me a birthday present in a long time other than my grandchildren and my children, and that's the best present of all. It's my family.
100%. 11 grandchildren. God bless you. All right. Well, I'm sure you heard the conversation I just had. An amazing guest.
With Mike, yeah.
Mike Huckabee, great guy. And, he is, and everybody's talking about the same thing today, which is, did President Trump come off looking weak. That's the word. I don't use it. I love them. But that's the word. Even Trump supporters looking weak again yesterday with all these threats that he never really follows through on. Or is he working out something better? What does KT McFarland think?
Something better. The reason I thought yesterday was a different announcement was the statement that came out of the White House where, he said yet again, Iran's not going to have nuclear weapons, we're winning the war, blah, blah, blah. But he said that the following countries have seen the agreement and they're on board. U.S. and Israel, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and then he went on to list all of the Gulf Arab countries. The reason that's important is you need their buy-in if you're ever going to verify or enforce that agreement. We know that they're going to cheat. So you have to have snap inspections. But they're going to cheat. They're going to say, well, it's not convenient for you to come here and inspect today, maybe 2 weeks from now in another place. They're moving the stuff around that they have. So you have to have the ability to snap inspection. You also have to know what's really going on the ground. I'm sure we have fairly good intelligence. Israel has the best intelligence of what's happening inside Iran, but the Gulf Arabs know a lot. And then finally, if we get an agreement, how do you enforce that agreement? That's always been the problem with Iran. They're going to cheat, but then hey, what are you going to do about it? And if it's buy-in by those Gulf Arab countries, which have strong militaries in the region, very strong intelligence services, and that's where those countries are the places, their banks, are where Iran has put a lot of their money. So those countries have opened their books to us, and this is really in the last month or so. They've opened their books to us so we can see where those Iranian accounts, offshore accounts are. We've also cracked into their crypto accounts. So any money that's going to move around after an agreement, either if there is some kind of sanctions relief, we're going to know where it's spent. In the Obama era, they said, well, we're going to spend it on hospitals, and then they spent it on missiles. We'll know if they're spending it on missiles. When they say, well, the proxies aren't really ours, we're not using the money for proxies, we'll know when that money moves to proxies. So a lot of what the enforcement is
up. Come back to me, KT. Come on, you are doing great. You are doing great. Come back to me.
It's follow the money.
Follow the money. Well, I will tell you this. I brought up the possibility that we loosen these sanctions and Iran gets money. As far as I'm concerned, it's a bad deal if that's the case. I don't care what else they do. I don't care because whatever else they say they're going to do, they're not going to do. Okay,
they're not going to do it.
Right.
Yeah,
so
they're going to cheat.
Right. So if they end up signing some piece of paper, we're going to stop enriching uranium. They're going to lie. They're going to lie. They're not going to stop. Right. Right. So. And then we're going to give them money, and like I keep saying all morning long, they're not going to build hospitals, they're not going to build schools. Mm-hmm. What Huckabee said was, listen, I agree with you 100%, and he said, something tells me so does President Trump. So his recommendation was, don't listen to everything Trump says. Don't listen, certainly, to what the media is reporting. Put your faith in Trump that he knows that money to Iran is like crack to Charlie Sheen. He didn't say that, but I'm saying that. It's a very good analogy. But in all seriousness, we can't have that. We can't have it.
You have to know where the money's going. You can't give block grants to Iran. You can't unfreeze assets and say, okay, here's your money. Go do with it what you want. You have to know what they're giving the money to. So, for example, we could oversee those accounts. So if Iran says, I'm going to build a hospital, and we're going to see where the money goes. If it's not going to the hospital, we freeze it or we give it to somebody else. I think that at this point, from this point on, it'll be follow the money. And thank goodness the Secretary of the Treasury has been vigilant about tracking down those accounts that are in offshore accounts of the Iranian officials and the IRGC, and really brilliant at cracking their cryptocurrency accounts where they've been moving money around on cryptocurrencies, which is normally invisible. But the Treasury Department has figured out where it goes. Look, is it going to be a great deal? Is it going to be perfect? Is it going to be surrender, like the Japanese surrender? No, it's not. It's not going to be perfect. There'll be ups and downs and backs and forths, and there'll be Iranian Guard members who want to sabotage it. But it's a slow nudging towards peace. And I just keep thinking of two things. One, the Gaza Peace Accords. Remember, no, that was never going to work. We can never trust Hamas. Well, that's worked out pretty well, largely because all those other Arab countries have bought into it. And then with regard to Iran, it's the Abraham Accords is the bigger thing here. It's not even just Iran. It's getting all those countries in the region to recognize Israel, to trade with Israel, to invest in Israel, and Israelis to invest in their countries, and then have an interlocking web of relationships between Israel and the Gulf Arab countries. That's how the peace will ultimately be kept in the Middle East.
You know what my fear is? Trump does all this, and maybe it starts to work just a little, okay? The jury's still out on that, not because of Trump's best attempts in the United States. He just can't trust Iran. And then the elections come in 2028, and it's not J.D. Vance or the guy that I really want is Marco Rubio. You know, I haven't talked to anybody. I mean anybody. Any Trump supporter, any Republican. I'm in New York, of course. I speak to people in Florida and Israel, too. I haven't spoken to anybody that would rather have J.D. Vance as the nominee over Marco Rubio. Nobody. Maybe Erica Kirk, but that's about it. But either way, if it's not one of them, or Ted Cruz, or Glenn Youngkin, or Ron DeSantis, who knows, and it ends up being a Democrat, whatever Trump has been doing will be completely unraveled. You realize that, yes?
Yes and no. If it is sort of established enough, it's hard to have him unravel it. Now, why do I say that? Look at the Abraham Accords signed at the end of Trump's first term, and that allowed travel, investment, trade between Israel and several of the Gulf Arab countries. That was not undone during the Biden administration. They couldn't have unwound that because it was so profitable and it was so successful for the signatories of the Abraham Accords. So I think the Abraham Accords, as President Trump said, and then he didn't really follow it up, but as he said a couple of weeks ago, part of this Iran deal, if we get a deal, is to all those countries sign on to the Abraham Accords. Once that happens, it becomes too lucrative too quickly. And so in 2 years' time, a Democrat may want to undo it and may want to, I don't know, give Iran nuclear weapons like Barack Obama did. It'll be very hard to unwind it.
I think, well, I hope you're right at least, and you're a lot smarter than me. So my money's on you, KT McFarland. As always, an excellent, excellent Friday segment. Have yourself a beautiful weekend. We'll do it again next week. Thank you so much. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, KT. You're great. KT McFarland right there. We're so lucky to have her each and every Friday right here on Sid and Friends in the Morning.
Sid and Friends in the Morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
You must get minimum 20 minutes of sun every day. And the important part to get vitamin D, get it in your armpits. When it gets through your armpits, it's quickly absorbed in your body. You must get sun every day. How long are you going to live anyway? You got your face and you got a spot. I got spots here. I go in, the guy does a thing. You must get in the sun.
Do you use SPF?
No. I hate SPF.
Okay, Lana, see?
I know.
I've been telling my
you
wife.
get cancer. Half that cancer. I've explored this. I used to use iodine and baby oil years ago, but now I use Lancaster and I put it on my face, but I don't use any protection. I need protection from somebody breaking in my home and stealing my TV. Why I need protection on my face? You really think that helps?
My wife tends to believe that I have to look like a ghost when I go out and get into the sun. Which
Sebastian, Cary Grant, when I was working Vegas with the boys, he always told us, he said, get a suntan, my boy, because that you don't need makeup. All my life, I've been in the sun. And when I go on stage, it's this. You know, if I'm sitting doing a show, I'm sure you got a makeup artist. We're going to cover, sometimes you want to take the shine. But if you have a nice glow from the sun, get it.
That's what I said.
It can't hurt you, and you look better.
That's what I said. Listen, if you learn anything from Paul Anka, it's blueberries and suntan your armpits.
Peter Rosenberg, who came at me yesterday. I am tan. I'm not purple. And I look better than you. That's the bottom line. Paul Anka said it best. Now, I don't tan my armpits. I mean, Paul even goes further than me. I don't do that. But he's right. You look better. Like, I'm on TV with people. They sit next to me on TV. They look terrible. Sorry. I'll take the purple. I'll take any color you want to call me. They look unhealthy and terrible. I walk into a room, and again yesterday, man, you look amazing. Where'd you get that tan? Where'd you get it? Well, I live on the beach in Queens. I didn't have to go to Puerto Rico or Israel like I'm going next week. 99% of people compliment, and the good-looking people never say a word. It's always the fat, dumpy people Or the people whose avatars on social media are like cats and dogs or birds, there's the ones who criticize you because they're also liberals. They can't win any argument, so they talk about Mike Tan. The dumbest thing ever. So I love that piece there between Paul Anka and Sebastian Maniscalco. That's a great job by Lisa G. She sent me that. What else is going on? Oh, I do have some sad news. Our dear friend Justin Gabe Boxer.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as the kosher guru.
Love him.
His dad died last night.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Jeez, prayers out to Gabe.
Yes.
We love Gabe.
We do love him. Gabriel Boxer, a.k.a. kosher guru. His dad passed away last night.
Text. That's terrible.
Yeah, I sent him a text and all that stuff. So very sad to see that. Talking about Jersey, I did mention Mikey the Situation. He was on moments ago with our friend Steve Ducey on Fox and Friends at some diner in Wildwood, New Jersey. Remember when Trump packed 150,000 into Wildwood? What a night that was. Scott Lebedo painted. It was amazing. It wasn't a night, it was a daytime. But anyway, so Mikey the Situation, according to Noam Laden, is considering running for governor?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's talked about it. I don't know how far this has gone. I mean, obviously the campaign's a while away because Mikey Sherrill just won.
She just won. Mikey Muhammad Sherrill to you, sir.
Yeah. So, but yeah, apparently he's told a number of people that he is investigating about running for office.
Well, he's got to change. His haircut is stupid. And I'd say, I met Mike on occasion, a couple of Super Bowls. He's a very sweet guy, you know. And I do love the Jersey Shore, and I live by that. I'm going to be 60 years old, and I live by GTL, Jim Tan Laundry. That's me. That's real life Sid Rosenberg, Jim Tan Laundry. I live by that motto. And I like all those kids. I've met all of them. Paulie, Snooky, they're all good kids. But Mike has to change his hair. He's not 25 years old anymore. It looks dumb. And also, I don't know if that time in prison for a felony is going to help him. I don't know. I mean, there are people that have had that still win, right?
Yeah, well, you know, he had admittedly drug and alcohol problems, and he said that's what led to some of this.
I'd like to see him do it. Why not, right? You got Sid Rosenberg run for mayor. Spencer Pratt just ran. He won, but they cheated in California. They'll cheat in Jersey, too, so doesn't really matter who runs. It's so silly. We get these races. We get all excited. Michael Rappaport is telling me at his amazing documentary premiere a couple nights ago, he's going to run for mayor. And he'd be great, but you can't win. First of all, the numbers are so against you. And second of all, if you do find a way to compel some of these otherwise Democrat voters to like you or vote for you, they cheat. So what's the difference, right? When was the last, I guess, fat Chris Christie was the last Jersey governor, right?
A Republican?
Craig Carton got so upset with me. Did you hear that, was it yesterday, when he brought up Chris Christie?
Yeah, well...
And I said, it'd be nice if Fatso stopped rooting for the Dallas Cowboys. He got upset, you heard that,
Well, because they're very close friends.
I know, they're like best buddies, but it is what it is. And lastly, I want you all to read this before Victoria Coates comes on. This is Garrett Seawright. I think Garrett Seawright is one of the best media writers in the country. He may be the best. How about that? Garrett Seawright, and he writes for the industry standard Barrett Media. Now, I know I just hung out with Michael Harrison in Talkers Magazine last Friday, and it was great. John Catsimatidis did a terrific job. So did Lee Harris. But I think at this point, Barrett has probably surpassed, it has, in fact, Talkers as the industry standard. Here is a new column today. It's on the cover of Barrett Media, and it reads, 77 WABC's Sid Rosenberg opens up about his repeated Israel visits. And it's a really good story, packed with emotion, opinion, as I get set to do it again a week from yesterday. This Thursday, in 6 days, I'll be back on my way to Israel to speak for the second straight year at the International Policy Summit for JNS.org. And I believe our dear friend Victoria Coates, who's coming up next, she'll be doing it too. In fact, she spoke not long before me last year on that closing box on that Tuesday night. So let's take a break.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I love doing this show. I love you, all three of you guys, and four of you, Joe Nolan too. Every once in a while, he's not sitting in front of me, but all four of you. I love you guys. I love this show. This is So far and away the best show in the country, it's not even worth debating. But I'll be in Jerusalem next Friday, so. And you should come, though.
Are you inviting me?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I knew I was falling.
Have you
for
been
something.
back since your father passed away?
I have not.
Do you plan on going back?
Yeah, well, I have a younger brother that lives there.
When was the last time you saw him?
He came here a couple months back.
No, in Israel.
Oh, well, the last time was when my father passed away.
Well, you went to Israel when your dad passed. That's right. The funeral was there, right?
Yeah.
You sat Shiva in Israel, right?
I did.
Yeah. How old's your brother?
He is 52.
Oh, he's gay, right?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he is,
Lou
honestly.
told me he was gay.
He could be.
In fact, Lou said he was flaming.
He's going to be it's funny you should mention that because he's going to be at the Gay Pride Parade in Tel Aviv today.
Idiot. Yeah. My daughter says to me, well, Dad, I point out, I go, Ava, Israel is the only Middle Eastern country for you retards called Queers for Palestine that has a gay pride parade and a whole week of gay pride events. She goes, well, it's great that you point that out, Dad, to make your point, but how about you advocate for the gays and the trans community? I said, I've always advocated for the gays. She said, what about the trans community? I said, I've always advocated for the gays. Anyway, here's Victoria Coates. Victoria, good morning, sweetheart. How are you?
Good morning, Sid. I'm great. Glad you're in a good mood.
I like when you come on laughing. That makes me happy. That's good. That means I'm doing my job. So you're going to be in Israel with me next week, right?
Uh-huh. We'll all be in the Holy Land. That's why we're in a good mood. We get to go back.
I think you're right. That's why. Subconsciously, I think you're right. So are you going to speak that same block on that Tuesday night like last time?
I think so. And then I've got a couple of these policy forums that we've been working on. So I think I've got 3 things that I have to do, and I think that Tuesday night is one of them.
That's
awesome. It's either the first night or the last night.
Right, the first night they've got Huckabee and Bibi, so you can't go wrong there either. But 3 things, that's impressive. You go back all the time. How many times have you been back to Israel since the war started?
Since the Iran war? This will be my first time.
No, since, since October 7th.
I don't know. Maybe half dozen.
Yeah.
It's been less frequent. I mean, because people frequently ask me how many times I've been to Israel, and I say I have no idea. Some number of times, but it's been a little bit tamped down just because it's hard to get a plane ticket at this point.
Oh, it's so hard. Let me tell you how hard it is. I'm actually taking an airline I've never heard of, but I guess for the last 2 years they've been going nonstop from Kennedy to Tel Aviv. They're called Arkia Airlines. You ever hear of them?
Huh. No,
Yeah.
I'm taking one for the team and flying Emirates.
I love them. Oh, I flew back. I'm going to tell you something right now.
Hardship.
I flew back from Greece last year after a Cyprus trip on Emirates, and I'm going to say this at the risk of pissing off El Al. It was the best flight I ever took. The best.
Oh, it's not even close.
Right.
And I know everyone has their views on Qatar, but Qatar Air and Emirates and Etihad are just a cut above.
I agree. I can't believe I'm agreeing, but I agree with you. It's like it's a complete cut above. It's not even close.
They figured it out.
Yeah, they really did. Well, I'll ask you this, and then we'll get to the Iran war, because I mentioned this column they wrote about me today and how I opened up about all my Israel visits. I'm going back. And one of the questions the writer Garrett asked me was, what is it about Israel? Why do you keep going back? So if I ask Victoria Coates, above the obvious, above and beyond, which is they're in the news, there's a war, there's Lebanon, above and beyond that, why does Victoria Coates keep going back?
I think I keep going back because it reminds me of America. We have these countries that were based on concepts, on ideas, and that there is a very intense sense of patriotism and of commitment to something bigger than ourselves individually. And so, I think you get that sort of rough and tumble startup nation kind of vibe that was so present here 250 years ago and is still here. All you have to do is scratch the surface. You don't even have to scratch the surface. Look what's happening with Elon today. That's not happening anywhere else in the world. It's happening here in the United States. We're going to mint our first trillionaire. Can the Chinese do that? No. Can the Europeans do it? No. The Americans can do it. And you know who would probably be next in line would be the Israelis.
Yep.
So the spirit of the place just gives me chills every time I land. And, I'm a Christian. I love being in the Holy Land.
Boy, that was perfect. I got to tell you, Victoria, that was really perfect. That was very well done. So let's get to the big story at hand today, though. That is the Iran deal. I've already had KT McFarland on the show. I spoke to Brian Kilmeade earlier. I had Mike Huckabee live from Israel on the show today. And I keep saying the same thing. I don't like the deal, no matter what it is, because no matter how Trump, and you know how much I love the president, I love him, he loves me, I love him. No matter how he presents this deal, it's going to be very similar to what Obama and Kerry did. There's no choice, and they're never going to comply. Ever. And we can't give them money because if we loosen restrictions and sanctions, you know where that money goes. So a deal for me is blow them to smithereens and then let's rebuild and see what happens down the road. But to give these people anything, to me is insane. What are your thoughts?
Well, I hear you, Sid, and I have, as we've discussed, no fondness for the Iranian regime, and nothing makes me happier than when somebody's dropping bombs on them. So I don't really want that to stop. But at the same time, as you look at this from, from a policymaking perspective, what we don't want to see is Iran collapse into sort of factional violence. And bear in mind, you've got a Persian majority in Iran, but then you've got very large sort of minority populations, the largest of which is the Azeris. Then you've got the Baluch, you've got the Kurds. There are all these groups. And what I think the president wants to see is an orderly transition. So I've been thinking about this a little bit like the collapse of the Soviet Union, which could have been a complete catastrophe, resulting in a whole bunch of little nuclear-armed states. And instead, Reagan was able to manage towards what you can call a Gorbachev moment, where because of what we were doing to the Soviet Union economically, and bear in mind the Saudis were a great partner in that, because of that, Gorbachev was forced to make some concessions that baked in the collapse of the Soviet Union, but it could be managed. So I think what the president has done to Iran militarily over the last 3 months, and nobody else has done anything even remotely like that to the Iranians. I think they're still reeling from what has happened to them. I don't even think they know entirely. And then on top of it, what's been done economically, and Secretary Bessent has just been a warrior on this. I'm so impressed with him and with his team. And that they believe that if they could get some meaningful concessions in this deal, then we're going to have this kind of slow train wreck failure in Iran, but it'll be something we can manage. We can help make sure that is at least somewhat orderly transition to a better Iran for the region and for the United States.
This Ukraine-Russia war, I believe, is now almost 1,600 days old. It's some crazy number. And President Trump, when he won, he said on this show and many places, he said, Sid, I got to tell you, I've solved 8 world conflicts. Maybe he's able to really produce peace here in the Middle East. He's trying, certainly trying. He said the one I thought would be the easiest, I really did, was Russia-Ukraine. He goes, and Zelensky, he pulls him around like a puppet, and Putin likes him. He said, I really thought that would be the easiest one. Is that thing anywhere near ever coming to an end?
Well, it's your lucky day, Sid, because just about 2 hours ago, I have an op-ed on Fox that just dropped on this topic, and it's titled something like "Don't Look Now," but President Trump may have just saved Ukraine. Ask the Russians. So, I've been looking at this. We had that Oval Office meeting. Everybody wrung their hands and clutched their pearls and called for their eau de cologne. The president had upset the apple cart with Ukraine, that Putin was going to seize the country. We're now in year 5, as you were just saying, of his 3-day war. I don't think that's a big metric of success, personally. But if you look at what's happening in Ukraine, after that Oval Office meeting, Zelensky went back and said, those drones we're making, we got to make 10 times as many. We got to make them go 10 times further. And they wound up with these incredible long-range attack drones that they're now selling all around the world. They're cranking those things out. They're making their own 150 rounds. Remember, it's 2-3 years ago, oh my gosh, the United States was pulling the 150 rounds out of our stockpile in Israel to give them to Ukraine. Right. It was a terrible situation. Now Ukraine's making their own and exporting them. And so, this was the president's tough love. And the other thing they're asking for, and I think we need to look at this very carefully, are the licenses for them to manufacture the PAC-3 interceptors for the Patriots. And we make about 60 of those a month. Ukraine is currently firing about 70 a month. That math doesn't work. I'm all for Buy American, but we make 60 for everyone, including ourselves. And, and they need 70. And so, maybe it's not the PAC-3s because they are sensitive, but we should take a good look at it. Biden was too timid to do it. But it's the kind of thing that allows Ukraine to help itself. And then they can help allies. If Israel needs more PAC-3s and Ukraine's cranking them out, they can give them to Israel if we need ours for something in the Pacific. This is a much better model going forward. It's all because the president broke with the stupid as much as it takes, as long as it takes Biden approach, which was just building dependency and debt. And the really shameful thing is the idiots in Congress are now trying to stuff that genie back in the bottle. They're trying to pass another Ukraine appropriations, and a bunch of Republicans in the House who should have known better voted with the Democrats. It's gone to the Senate. It's another $10 billion for Ukraine that I don't know that they need it right now. I mean, let's look at what they actually need. Let's not just go back to this mindless check writing. And if they can make more progress, they can threaten Putin's logistic lines with these drones. Great. Let's get Putin to the table and not feeling like he's king of the universe, and that maybe he's going to have to make a bunch of concessions, too, if he wants to wrap this thing up.
And now, where is this op-ed? You said on Fox News right now?
Apparently, it's number 2. We're aiming to get to number 1, so everyone click on it.
Oh, no, it's got to be number 1. That was just a brilliant way to handle this conflict from a bunch of countries' standpoint. So Victoria Coates, go to foxnews.com and make sure that her op-ed is number 1. And I'll see you, Victoria, in the Holy Land next weekend. Thank you so much. Great job.
Next time in Jerusalem, Sid.
All right. And that's really going to happen, actually. Victoria, you have a safe trip and be well. I can't wait to see you. That's a great job, folks. Check her out, foxnews.com. Her new op-ed, Victoria Coates, happens to be the vice president of the Heritage Foundation. She's great. We'll take a break. We'll come back. He'll come back with a second time this week. He gets 2 appearances.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now I'll go to Philadelphia, watch Ecuador play soccer. But either way, I was like, no, it's Father's Day. But it's not. I guess Father's Day is not till the 21st. So I'm not going to be with the kids on Father's Day anyway because I'll be in Israel. Ava will be home. She's in Israel today. And Gabriel, of course, will be home. So we'll do a long-distance Father's Day. We'll do the whole FaceTime thing, and then I'll come back and we'll celebrate, Joseph Tacopina was just abroad. He was in Italy last week. His son, he's got a couple, but wonderful Matthew, got married, and JoJo looked really handsome in his tuxedo, and Matt looked great, and his wife is beautiful. But he's back in the States on this Friday morning, joining us for the second time this week. Joseph, good morning. How are you, pal?
I'm great, brother. I'm really great. That was insane the other night, huh? That Knicks game was crazy.
Was that nuts?
I've never seen, honestly, and I'm not the biggest basketball fan. I mean, I'm a sports fan, like you are a sports fan, and it's New York, so all New York teams want to win.
Well, but I am a huge Knicks fan. Unlike right, I know you made this point before that you like other sports better. I happen to be a huge Knicks fan, but yes.
But I mean, look, I remember my dad used to take me to Knicks games when like Bernard King was really a great player, and they had those guys I used to love from the 80s and late 70s. So I have great experiences and memories from the Knicks, but it was unbelievable to see what I saw. That's the best team from a team standpoint the Knicks have ever had, I think. And it was great seeing all my clients in that celebrity row. I mean, I had like 3 or 4 clients.
4 of them, really?
Yeah.
I know you have Fat Joe. Who else? You have Skinny Jam. Who else?
Edie Falco, Jay-Z.
Edie Falco's yours?
Yeah, she's
Jay-Z. Will you tell Jay-Z his hair looks ridiculous? Stop it. Why does he have to go out like that? He looks ridiculous. I want you to tell him. Tell him I said it. Why not? He looks ridiculous. He's not the best-looking guy to begin with. I mean, he's lucky he got Beyonce. He has a lot of money, but I mean, geez, give me a break. Who's the 4th one? Jay-Z, Edie Falco, Fat Joe. Who else?
Khalid, DJ Khalid. I've represented on something.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. He's not.
He was there too, though. Was A-Rod there?
He was.
Was A-Rod there?
Alex wasn't there. Alex
Okay.
wasn't there. No. Not that I saw anyway.
Who was your most? Who would you say besides President Trump, who you represented twice? And I'll say it again because people need to know this, including the president. You won twice. Bottom line is, E. Jean Carroll, Alvin Bragg, you did a great job. Excluding President Trump and me, who is your most, or who was, or is your most famous client?
Wow, so that's tough. Michael Jackson, I guess.
I thought Garagos had Jackson.
No, Garagos got removed from the case. Mark, he was on. I did the case with Tom Mesereau.
No kidding.
Back
I didn't even know you had Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Mesereau was the lead on that thing. That was 20 years ago. But yes, so Michael was my client.
That's a big one. That's it. Oh, you had Leo too. Didn't you have Leo?
A-Rod. No, I never had Leo. I mean, I was consulting with Leo, but I never represented him.
Okay.
But A-Rod, I guess.
Foxy Brown?
Perhaps. Foxy Brown, Meek Mill. I guess Meek
Mill? The kid that was in A Bronx Tale?
Lilo Brancato, yeah.
Oh, how about this guy? You were a prosecutor, not a defense attorney. No, I know, Lilo. I know. How about this guy? You were a prosecutor because you were a baby at the time, not the defense attorney you are now. But how about sitting next to Bruce Cutler for John Gotti?
Right, exactly. Well, that's when I was a young lawyer, like interning, and then I was in the John Gotti trial, which was a hell of an experience. Yeah, that was wild. I mean, apparently the jury was paid for, so I didn't know that, but I was like, oh, this is awesome. We keep winning.
They were paid for. There were two things, Joe. They were paid for and they were scared to death. Let's be honest.
Exactly. So, A$AP Rocky. I mean, I think he's
big one
up there, right?
Yeah, A$AP. Big one.
Rihanna, Sean Hannity. Sean was my boy.
Oh, no kidding. Here's one for you. You ready? Here's one. Don Imus.
He was next. I was about to mention Don. You know how I know this? I just went on my damn website to see. I don't remember these people. So, Don Imus, right? Yep.
Yeah. Damn, you've had a lot of
Commanders. I guess they're not.
Daniel Snyder, right?
And Snyder, and I represented the team, the Commanders. Yeah. So it's been a few.
Wow, big ones. Big ones.
But they were all seemed like Celebrity Row. I was like, ooh. That's my client. That was cool.
That's hilarious.
I remember I had that invite from Fat Joe that I turned down because I didn't want to feel like some idiot going there that didn't belong. And I sort of regret it a little bit. That's whatever.
Nah, you did the right. It's sweet that you did that. But look, I know you love New York sports and you enjoyed and reveled in it like we all did. But it's not your favorite sport. But you love soccer or football, as they call it in Europe. You won championships with your Italian teams. The United States has their first game tonight. In fact, my buddy Brian Kilmeade is in Los Angeles as we speak. He's going to watch the U.S. take on Paraguay. Will you watch that game tonight with a major amount of interest? How about World Cup soccer?
No, I'm not. Look, soccer's really not my thing. I mean, I'm a hockey, baseball, football. Okay, those are my sports.
Yep.
I will watch basketball. I love I love March Madness. I really do. Because there's something about that tournament that's amazing. But I do, obviously I've been in soccer, but it was more of a business thing for me than a labor of passion. But I will, of course, any New York team that's in a final, I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for the Knicks ferociously. So, the USA men's national team, of course. And honestly, I think this year, look, the problem is, we seem to always come up short, right? But we have talent this year of a different type that we've ever had.
Yeah, because I can tell you this, and you'll be impressed I even know this, okay? I think the most amount of players we ever had that played on top European teams on our U.S. team was 2. This year, Joseph, we've got 11.
No, I know. And they're like major players. 11. That feels a team, by the way. And we have a coach, finally, who's one of the most accomplished club managers of our generation. He coached at Tottenham. He coached at Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea. Those are the 3 of the biggest teams in the world, if not the 3 biggest teams in the world, right? He's our coach. It's that Mauricio Pochettino, or I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a real coach.
Yeah.
So this might be different. And I hope, because look, how great would it be to come off the gold medal, the Olympic gold medal from the men's hockey team, women's hockey team, and then go there and get this.
Oh, my God.
Just amazing.
Be huge. Be huge.
The Knicks. And I got to tell you something. Sid, we're New Yorkers. You and I are personified. We are what New York is, right? I mean, this is our city. We love it.
Yep.
I have never seen the city come together, honestly, over a team like this Knicks team. I've never seen it. It's like unifying a city. And, here's why people love sports. They don't love sports because they're games. They love sports because sports satisfies some of the deepest human needs: belonging, purpose, hope, connection, and the thrill of sharing victories and heartbreaks with others. That's really what it is. It helps us forget about all the stuff we deal with, especially in today's world. The immersion that we're able to do for a couple of hours. There's actually psychologists call this flow. It's a state associated with like enjoyment and reduced stress. Sports does that for us. It also, it does something. There's actually studies that show it creates healthy mental releases. So, men, we don't, in society, it's not acceptable for you and I to yell, celebrate, cry, feel intense emotion. Sports gives us permission to do all those things.
It's true.
And that emotional investment can be surprisingly healthy. So it's what I'm seeing here is just amazing. And it gives us a tribe. It really does. Human beings are wired to belong to groups. We just are. Whether it's the Knicks, the Mets, the Rangers, identifying with the team creates a sense of community and shared identity. And you're seeing that live and in color. And research shows that social connection is one of the strongest predictors of happiness. So it's amazing to see this.
The hell happened just here? I was just talking to the most famous defense attorney in the country who literally, right in front of my eyes, turned into Dr. Phil.
No, I'm fascinated by this stuff, brother. I read this stuff all the time.
No, it's true.
It's true. Part of what I do is I have to understand the human psychology, and I have to understand the mind. And so, these connections are something to me that are phenomenal to watch.
True.
And then again, I say, except the idiots who ruin it by wilding and fighting with cops. I mean, who are there? They couldn't care less about the New York Knicks. They wear a jersey that they don't even know who the player is.
Well, that's what I was yelling at the other day with Stephen A. Smith. I'm like, Steve.
I know, and you were right.
And then you get the mayor. By the way, the mayor is one of those guys. Listen, I had so much glee. You've been on this show twice this week. You're one of two people I brought on twice this week, just so you know. The other is Craig Carton from WFAN, who I love. He's the afternoon host.
Oh, boy, yep.
Craig is great. And Craig interviewed James Dolan 2 days ago on the Fan. And Dolan actually said, with Craig Carton on the air, they got a huge audience. Mamdani's not a Knick fan. I've been saying that since the Hawk series about Mamdani and Hochul. Phonies, liars. To hear Dolan say that made me so happy. So not only are the kids in the street wearing their Knick jerseys, hanging off lampposts and fighting with cops liars, so's the mayor. So is the governor. They're all lying frauds.
Well, I hate full fans again. When I see them at the arena whooping it up like they're like lifelong Knicks fans, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. But it's politics, and they're so phony. And that's that's unfortunately that's who they are. There's nothing about them that's redeeming, quite frankly, in my opinion. Nothing, just nothing. And this is just another step, right? So it's like you need another reason to not like this guy anymore.
That's funny.
I'm sure they'll come up with another one.
Oh yeah, no, there'll be something else, no question about it. Talking about people that are not very likable, Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody likes him. Every decent person thinks he is the devil. He was, the scumbag with a capital S. And people, I get called a pedophile every day on Twitter. Every day. I'm not exaggerating, Joseph, because I'm friends with Trump. So the Trump detractors, they call him pedo-Trump. So now I get called a pedophile, which is really gross and disgusting and ridiculous every day. And then people want to know why.
It's also actionable, Sid.
I know it is. I know. We'll have it. I know. We will talk one day. But then people want to know why I'm turned off about the whole Epstein thing. It's not because I don't want people to pay the price. It's because they lose control. They don't know how to attack the actual story, and innocent people get thrown into this huge bonfire. But I know Bill Gates, he spoke on Capitol Hill this week. They're bringing Dershowitz back. What do they expect to accomplish here? I'm just curious. Do you know?
This is the House Oversight Committee, right? And it's continuing to take testimony from people connected to Epstein's orbit, which is half of America, right? There were people who knew Epstein, maybe were friends with him, did business with him. Does not mean they were pedophiles. Okay?
Of course not.
Because you know a pedophile or associated with a pedophile doesn't mean you knew his deep, dark secrets. Doesn't mean you were a pedophile, right? And that's why I hate that broad brush stuff. I despise it. So, Bill Gates, testified yesterday. Reportedly he acknowledged that he knew Epstein had a prior sex crime conviction, but said his interactions were tied to a fundraising effort for the Gates Foundation, and that the continuing relationship was a bad mistake. He said it was a grave error in judgment because he knew about his prior sex crimes conviction. Dershowitz is going to go again. I think there's some others, like former executive assistant Leslie Groff has already been interviewed. I think she might be coming back. I don't know. They say they're examining both Epstein crimes and how government agencies handled related investigations or records, because he did get away with it. He really did.
Oh yeah, no doubt,
without question.
Yeah.
So
do you think? Well, you say he got away with it. I mean, yeah, he did, but eventually it didn't end well.
I mean, for a long time.
No, for a long time. Do you think that he was murdered or he killed himself?
No, God, he killed himself. Sid,
you're wrong.
Do you understand the amount of people that would have to be involved in a murder?
Not many.
Conspiracy?
About three in a jail that time of night.
Really?
About three. No, two guys got to look the other way, and one animal who beat him up one other time, by the way, had to come downstairs and kill him. Not that hard.
Really, it is very hard because other people would know about it. It's not three. There are cameras all over that place. Okay, I know the one in his cell was turned off. It wasn't working. Whatever.
Yeah, why was that? Why was that? It was turned off. That's weird.
You're talking about federal officers who would be literally, for what reason? There's no evidence that anyone got money. There's no one gotten rich. They looked.
We don't know. We don't know.
No. They looked at every single.
Maybe Bill Clinton paid
correctional officer. Every single correctional officer in that facility. If anything different happened in their life, if there was any money coming in, there's zero evidence.
Yeah.
So they would have to be committing a crime that would put them in jail for the rest of their lives.
Right.
Okay. Lose their jobs.
Sure.
For why? But why? I mean, so
I don't know, but he was murdered. I don't know. I have none of these answers, but he was murdered.
Just give me one piece of evidence that he was murdered. Just one.
Well, he had marks. He had certain marks on his body that does not cooperate with a suicide. He was other marks on his body.
You don't believe what you're saying, right?
100% I do. He was murdered.
No.
And you know who else was murdered? Aaron Hernandez was murdered too.
He was murdered too.
Yeah. He wasn't.
Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
How about Charlie Kirk? Was he murdered?
Well, that was obvious. We saw it happen right in front of our eyes. So
who murdered Charlie Kirk, by the way?
Who murdered Charlie Kirk? Tyler Robinson.
Is that it? No one else?
Well, I don't know. Lee Harvey Oswald is dead.
Theory?
Are you telling me that there's a whole conspiracy theory about that too?
Charlie Kirk? Oh, there's a big one. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't match up in that one, brother. I mean, the trajectory of the bullet, where it came, where it entered.
So what do you? I'm fascinated by this. What do you think happened then?
So this one, I'm seriously, I'm repulsed by conspiracy theorists. I really
Me too.
Am. This time, I want to see more. There's something wrong with that Charlie Kirk murder. There really is. His security guards' actions were weird. They were signaling right before his bullet. They were signaling. I mean, look, I've been a homicide prosecutor. I've done these things. I've looked. I've really studied this because I'm fascinated by it, because I love that guy. I thought he was one of the most brilliant people I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He was an incredible orator. He was a debater that, I mean, honestly, I think I'm a great debater. He would eat my lunch. He was so good, so talented, and he was such a goodness in him. Like as a person, he would tolerate anyone's insults, and he was so smart. And we lost someone that could have really had an influence in this country, I believe, a good influence. And I just don't know. There were people saying I'm not subscribing to any theories, but he was very, very anti-Iran. He thought Israel had a little too much power over us. People are saying perhaps. He was murdered because of his positions on Israel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like what I saw, though. That bullet doesn't seem like it came from the way it hit him and exited. Doesn't seem like it came from where that kid was on the roof.
So you're thinking the murderer was closer than that?
Yeah. Or that microphone was detonated.
Wow.
I can show you some things, Sid, probably. Seriously, I'm not saying it happened. I just say there needs to be a hard look at it. A hard look.
Yeah.
And that guy, the former Ranger, I forget his name, that was just recently let go or fired or resigned. And I know that he's got some issues. I forget his name, but he was the one who was calling for the Justice Department. He was in Trump's administration. He was calling for the Justice Department to investigate that.
Yeah.
And he got turned down. So I don't know. I'm not comfortable with.
Well, let me ask you this: if you think that was there's some conspiracy there that makes sense there, and I'm not saying you're crazy. I mean, you are, but what do you think about the kid that was able to climb a roof in plain sight in Butler, Pennsylvania, and nearly assassinate the president? That made sense to you?
Did it make sense? It showed there was serious security lapses. I don't think that was anything.
Oh, so you're just chalking that up to those officers that day being inept.
I hate the word used inept, and I hate calling officers inept. The guy was on a roof. He was just missed.
What missed? Did the guy put a ladder up and climb the roof?
Brother, he was missed. Do you think?
Then they were inept. I love officers as much as you do. Then they were inept.
Okay, if that's the case, they were then. But do you think Secret Service officers knew there was an assassin going up on a roof?
Doesn't matter. That's the only place that was elevated anywhere near the President of the United States. What do you think those guys were doing there? They had like 10 guys right there. Right there.
Yeah, I know. But I do you subscribe to a conspiracy theory on that?
I don't know anymore.
I know. Well,
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I hate conspiracy theories like you.
Too.
I hate it. You know, you still have people telling me that those planes never hit the buildings on 9/11. I want to strangle those people.
And the Holocaust never happened, right?
Right.
All these idiots.
I know.
I mean, that's stupid. I was about to curse on your show. I'm sorry. That's stupid stuff. That's stupid stuff. That really is. That's repulsively unintelligent words.
I agree.
Really
I agree.
So,
but people are crazy. You know, there are people that say that Jeffrey Epstein, going back to him for a second, is literally alive, that the Mossad got him out of there and he's walking the streets of Tel Aviv. You know that, right?
Right, yeah. Hitler was alive in Argentina.
Right.
Elvis was alive. I mean, but that's, again, these are people who are, sick.
The sick people.
Kind of things. Sick.
These are stupid people. All right, let me get to Iran. You've been right from the beginning. I know you're an attorney, but you've got Army experience, and I always have to preface the conversation by telling people that you're in Germany and all over Europe hanging out with big-time generals, and you're not just some lawyer on Park Avenue with an opinion.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention names, but you do know what you're talking about, and you told me, oh, my God, over a month ago, let's put it this way, without blowing your cover. What you told me you've been 100, not 99, 100% right about. So I don't like this deal. To me, this deal, and I love Trump, will be no better than Obama and Kerry. No matter what he says, it's the same deal, and it could be just as bad because, once again, somewhere in this deal, Iran is going to get money, and as I said all morning long, they're not going to build schools or hospitals. They'll continue, no matter what they sign to Trump, to build their nuclear program. They will continue to get money to their terror proxies. There is no deal to be made with these people. What am I missing?
Which is why the president initially said there will never be a deal. It's unconditional surrender or nothing. There will never be a deal. That was, you remember that early Truth Social post, right? The problem with the president on this stuff here is, and I'm with you on how you support him and all that. Just the problem with this, I think he's just getting bad advice from his people, is that he's been making too many proclamations that turn out not to be accurate. Or, we won the war and we're still fighting. We won the war and then there's a ceasefire. And there's a ceasefire and then we're bombing. It's just, and now this deal cannot be worse than the Obama deal because this will destroy him, right? It will destroy him. So, before this war, Iran didn't control the Strait of Hormuz. Now it does. Iran's oil was sanctioned. Now it's not. The U.S. bases in the Gulf were assets. Now they're liabilities, and they're decimated. Inflation was declining. Now it's increasing. Iran was really supposedly not building nuclear bombs before the war because we obliterated them last fall. Now it will. So this deal better be something special because if not, we spent trillions of dollars, God knows how much money, lost lives, American lives, lost children's lives in Iran. If there's something that's not going to be any better or perhaps worse than the Obama deal, that would be bad. But
that's what it's going to be. But that's what it's going to be. What do you think could possibly?
I'm with you, brother.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I mean,
we're in such a quagmire. We're in a trap right now. And so when I hear this pronouncement yesterday, we're not going to bomb them today. Wednesday there was or Tuesday night it was tomorrow we're going to bomb the hell out of them and all this stuff.
Oh, we can't bomb them Saturday because the Knicks are playing.
So Wednesday we're going to bomb them. Then Thursday there's an announcement of the deal. Now I read very carefully the quote, and it says that discussions and final points have been in both concept and great detail approved by all parties, including the United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Turkey, Pakistan, Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, Egypt, and others. What name is missing, Sid?
Iran.
Yeah. Right.
Because they haven't agreed to anything. They're like, they not only did not. Hold on.
I haven't heard a peep from them.
No,
saying yes.
no, I have. No, I have. Not only have they not agreed to it, Joseph. On the contrary, they've said we don't agree. How about that?
Well, then, see, we're going to look again. We're going to look stupid, and again, we're going to lose credibility.
Well, hold on. Let me make sure that's true. No, I thought I heard you say this morning that the United States is saying Iran has agreed to this. Is it that we haven't heard from Iran, or have they said that no, we haven't agreed to anything?
Well,
yet?
It was the president that said that there was some sort of preliminary agreement, and that would be done by the weekend. And then Tehran this morning said, no, that's not the case.
Okay, so they did say it. Yeah, there you go, Joseph. There you go.
See, now I didn't even hear that. I just heard silence, right? I just heard silence. I saw the president's statement about naming basically almost all those countries, like 9 different countries who agreed to it, and didn't see the country Iran in that statement. And now, based on what I just heard from you guys, they've actually denounced it, saying that's not true. So now why? Yeah. Do we go back to bombing
I got
again?
news for you. I'm not even sure Israel is, the last country that wants Iran getting money after what they've been through between the Houthis and Hezbollah and Hamas is Israel. So I'm not even sure Bibi is thrilled about it. I'm really not. I don't know. I don't know.
Again, I'll say this. We've been saying this from the beginning. It's a mess.
It's a mess. Yeah.
And then, we have to finish this damn job. Yeah. Go show who the American military is.
Damn right. Stick it up their ass. That's what I'm saying.
Or take a damn knee and let's get out.
We're not taking a knee. Okay, stick it up their ass. That's my political commentary. What a great segment. I got to tell you, Joe, every Friday you really are great. That was a really great segment. I love you. Thank you so much.
All right, my brother. Love you too.
Have a great weekend. The great Joseph Tacopina right there. All right, we'll take a break. Nomi's got the news. He's got bad news. There's no good news. Well, I guess the Knicks tomorrow night. That's good news. Other than that, some kid choked to death, and the deal with Iran is a bad deal. And
yeah, well, that's the nature of news. Usually.
And Mamdani is still the mayor, and Hochul is still the governor, and
do you remember this when you were doing the show with Bernie early on? You wanted me to do a nice newscast.
I actually yelled at you one day, and I said, "Just give me good stories."
Yeah. So I said, okay. So every day at a certain hour, I would put together these nice stories and we'd broadcast them, and that lasted about 3 days.
No, then we had to fire you after that.
You did, yeah. Rightfully so, maybe.
No, of course not. You're the best. All right, we'll take a break. Nomi's got the news.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We're either going to be talking about a ticker tape parade and our first championship in 53 years, baby, or a Game 6 at home Tuesday night with a chance to win it here. Either way, Craig and Beningo and all my regulars will be very important guests next week. I did lament a couple days ago, and I still feel the same way, that if the Knicks win tomorrow night in San Antonio, we are not prepared at this station on Sunday to really cover that and celebrate that. Neither is FAN, because their regulars, something tells me Chris Olivero has them all on call. They got to be. Boomer, Craig, Joe, they got to go in. You can't have weekend programming when the Knicks win a championship. First time in 53 years. Can't do it. Unless you just want to give up the day, that's fine. Give up the day.
I think at the very least, you got to have these guys call in.
At the very least.
At the very least.
I don't know, the onus is on them more. They're a sports station. We're not. But you have a guy here who gets the biggest ratings and is the biggest star, who has a big sports history.
Oh, you should get him.
Try to get that guy, right?
Yeah.
All right. We'll reach out to Walter now if you can. But I'm serious about that. Like, we're going to wait till Monday morning if the Knicks win on Saturday night to talk about a Knicks championship? That's nuts. But we'll do it, But I also have to talk to Craig about this softball game that I want to put together at John Stadium on Staten Island that Craig and I have talked about. And Gary Perrone loves the idea. So does Steve Gleiner, as they should. And that is the WABC versus WFAN All-Stars. Now, that place, our stadium, seats about, 7,000? Is that about right? And we're not going to get 7,000 for a Ferry Hawks game. Maybe we'll get close if we get the right manager. Hint. But if Craig and I put this softball game together with two powerhouse local radio stations, we'll get close. In fact, I'm willing to bet right now that that'll be the most crowded the stadium will be all summer. Anybody disagree with that?
I wouldn't.
I do not disagree.
No.
Right, Lou? Right, Noam? I mean, ABC versus FAN, that'll be your biggest crowd of the summer. Sid versus Craig, whatever you want to, it doesn't matter.
We got to come up with team names then.
Right. Well, no, for us, the hardest part is to field a team.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
true.
they got a bunch of, former jocks that work on the station.
Oh, we're going to get killed. We're going to get killed.
How do you know we're going to get killed?
It won't even be close.
Chad's a good player.
Yeah, we're going to get
Chris
killed.
Libertini used to play ball. I think he still does. No?
We're going to get killed.
It's like slow pitch softball, It's not like.
Well, you played baseball in college, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I would go 4 for 4 with like 4 doubles. Yeah. But
All right, well, that's
everybody
good.
else-
Okay, good.
Yeah. Now you set yourself up when you pop out to the shortstop 3 times.
I'm a gap to gap guy.
Right. You're a gap to gap guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Store
Like a
gap to
porn
gap.
star.
Yeah.
Can we even field a team? Do we have 10 people?
I don't know if we do, actually.
No, we do.
Let's see.
No. Well, Justin for sure.
Right.
Chad for sure.
Right.
Libertini for sure.
That's 3.
Me for sure.
That's 4.
Lewis for sure.
That's 5.
Do you play?
I can play.
I can see that. Oh,
Yeah.
so you're in that 6.
Dominic Carter at 7.
Yep.
Dominic can't play baseball, can he?
How about Bo Snerdley?
I don't think he can do it.
Greg
He's
Kelly?
not even here. Who?
Greg Kelly?
Greg Kelly? I mean, don't get me wrong. Greg Kelly's a man's man. Greg Kelly's he's much more of a man than I am. That mother effer actually served our country. That guy flew jets.
That's right.
I
But
mean,
can
he
he
is
swing a
a
bat?
much better man than I am. But no, he can't play sports.
Okay, what about Rita Cosby? Going through the whole lineup.
You're laughing, but we may be forced to play her and Cindy Adams.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be great. What is this thing that's coming? Why
It's gotta be
are you
somebody else.
rowing?
Stop it. Come on. Who else is on this station?
Dick
We're
Morris?
all racking our brains, man.
Who's on the weekends? Oh,
Joe Concha, can he play?
yeah, he could probably play.
Like I bet Dino could swing a bat.
Oh, Mike Dino can definitely play.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that
Bet
group.
Salas
Eric
could-
Salas.
Salas could play
Yeah, a whole
Yeah.
video
Oh, he doesn't
department,
play
a bunch of
baseball?
young kids.
Right.
Oh, we could play them. Mike Dino, Eric Salas.
Yeah, because they'll really.
The Jewish kid can't play.
Yeah.
Birnbaum, he can't
No,
play.
but they'll stack up well against the likes of Tiki Barber. That'll be great.
Tiki Barber made the greatest catch I've ever
Yeah,
seen
because he's a
in
former
the
NFL
history.
running back.
I actually showed up one year for
What a
Dolores, for the Real Housewives of New Jersey, and I helped her put together her very first charitable softball game ever with the help of Heshe Orgenbaum and Mike Brinkott, Maimonides Hospital. And we the first year we played, and the only game I went to. And Tiki showed up in like the 7th inning. He was busy doing something for the fan. And we put him in at shortstop. And the last play of the game, some doctor, Maimonides, hit this screaming line drive. And Tiki was Bobby Orr. I swear to God, Lou. He was mid-air, backhand. It was like he just rushed for 250 against the Chiefs again. I've never seen a better play. And I played softball upstate for 50 years. I've never seen a better play. And he's on their team.
Yeah, that's great. Well, look, we haven't even finished our team, and that's his team.
I think people will rush to see that. I really do. I think people will be so excited. And then, of course, the bigger deal is if they do it right at the stadium, and Craig and I will be up for just about anything, the opportunity to come down to the, by the field at least. You got to stand behind the seats, but shake some hands, take some pictures, get autographs from your favorite personalities at ABC and FAN, John and Margot. I think people would love that. I really do. Now, if I want to really extend it, because he's going to probably have like Plaxico Burress or Derek Jeter, who knows, then I could add my people, which is the cops. And cops can play ball.
This is going to be a game of ringers.
Yeah.
That's all this is.
Maybe we'll have President Trump read the starting lineups.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, look, this team's got a lot of bad hombres, Sid.
Somebody's got to sing the national anthem, too. I don't know who we can do for that. Oh, who's a good... Lisa
Vinny.
Orban was a good singer.
Could have Vinny sing it.
Oh, Vinny Madunio.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? Pimp, we got Vinny Madunio.
He's a good pinch runner, too.
Yes. He sings the national anthem at all the galas. He's really good. Really good.
And I think he's from Staten Island, right?
He is.
Yeah.
He lives in Staten Island. Yeah, him and his father's a good guy.
Why would they have Plaxico Burress?
Because he does stuff at the station once in a while.
He's on the air?
He was on Craig Carton's TV show for 2 years. He's best friends with Craig.
Yeah, you got to have just.
He may have Mark Schlereth. I don't know.
These guys don't work at that station.
He worked with Paul Pierce.
What Paul Pierce who?
From the NBA, the great Boston Celtic who won an NBA championship.
Not on WFAN.
These are FAN personalities?
No, on Fox Sports.
No,
what?
That's not. That's not
Well,
how
we
we're
haven't
playing.
made the rules yet. He could include some. He still does a Fox Sports.
That doesn't count.
He's got the unnamed black guy from Philadelphia.
That doesn't count.
It's got to be full-time WFAN employees.
Then we need to sit down like an Iran deal and make the deal.
Okay.
All right? Yeah, you get the Strait of Hormuz and I get Plaxico Burns.
Right. Yeah. Somebody made out on that deal. That's crazy.
We'll figure it out. It's going to be great. It's going to be the highlight of the summer. I'm telling you, folks.
Okay.
ABC versus up, and I'm telling you something else. Because they said it would never happen, right? Just this year when Jack Hughes scored the goal against the Canadians, when Michael Ruzioni scored that goal against Russia, when the Germans won in Pearl Harbor. We're going to win.
Yeah. He's on a roll.
Are you drinking again?
He's on a roll.
They can get every athlete in the world that's ever walked by a Fox studio. And we got Cindy Adams. So it's been a great game.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Ken Griffin now doubling down today and expanding his Miami business plan. He is going to screw New York. He hates the mayor. So do I. He's sick and tired of the mayor. So am I. So the mayor has lost Ken Griffin. He's expanding his business opportunities in Miami. He's going to abandon New York, as he should do. Really sad. Mamdani, what an asshole. What a real asshole. But the Knickerbockers go New York, go New York, go. The next time I'm on the air here, Monday, they may be champs for the first time since I was 6 years old. I was 6 the last time the Knickerbockers won a championship. And next year I'll be 60. So, you know, it's been a long time. So go New York, go New York, go. Again, a part of me wants them to lose, and I think they will lose tomorrow and have a chance to win at home on Tuesday. But I'm afraid that then they can lose again and then just get it done. So we'll find out.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player's subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867. Louisiana.
Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.